A routine data stream at the Deep Space Network's Canberra complex shows an anomalous spike. The scene opens in near darkness, the only light coming from rows of monitor banks. We are in the signal processing center of the Deep Space Network's Canberra complex, Australia. It's 3:14 a.m. local time. The graveyard shift. On one of dozens of identical screens, a waterfall plot streams, a vertical river of color representing radio frequency intensity over time. It's monitoring a target of opportunity, a patch of sky in the constellation Centaurus that a PhD student at Caltech requested time on for a low-priority survey of neutral hydrogen clouds. The data is mundane, a visual lullaby of cosmic white noise and the faint, predictable whisper of interstellar medium. For 7 hours, the plot has been a serene, unchanging blend of dark blues and greens. Then, for a duration of less than 2 seconds, a single, brilliant, vertical line of crimson fire cuts through the tranquil display. It is a spike of raw power, registering 15 standard deviations above the background mean. The software logs it with a timestamp and a hexadecimal code. The universe has just coughed. The spike is flagged by an automated filter designed to catch interference. The DSN software is a paranoid guardian. It is programmed to ignore the known chaos of Earth, the rasping signature of a passing satellite's downlink, the rhythmic pulse of a navigation radar from Sydney Airport 300 km away, the occasional pop of solar weather. Its algorithms are trained on a century's worth of terrestrial radio pollution. This spike does not match any fingerprint in its vast library of ignorable events. Its frequency, its rise time, its spectral shape are alien to the system's experience. A red-bordered alert window materializes silently in the lower right corner of the monitoring station's secondary screen. No klaxons, no flashing lights, just a terse, bureaucratic line of text. Flag, anomalous RFI detected. Band, 1.42 GHz. SNR, 15.4, not in catalog, review required. The event is now a permanent, queryable entry in a database that contains millions of similar flags, 99.999% of which are nothing. Junior analyst Maya Chen reviews the flag, assuming it's another burst of solar wind or satellite artifact. Maya Chen, 28, is 2 years into her postdoctoral fellowship at JPL, earning her stripes on the graveyard shift in Canberra. She sees the flag pop up on her console. She sighs, sipping cold tea. Her mind is on her upcoming rotation back to Pasadena and the mountain of data from her own research she needs to process. This is a routine chore. She clicks the alert, pulling up the raw data packet. Her first thought is coronal mass ejection. A tendril of the sun's atmosphere can sometimes whip past Earth and make the cosmos ring like a bell. But a quick check of the Space Weather Prediction Center dashboard shows all quiet. Her next guess, a classified satellite. The US, China, and others test new birds with weird emission profiles all the time. She runs a standard diagnostic, a sanity check script that recalibrates the signal against the observatory's own internal noise floor. The spike remains, defiantly real. She frowns, her mild annoyance giving way to mild curiosity. She runs a standard cleaning algorithm. The spike doesn't disappear, its structure becomes clearer. Maya initiates a more aggressive data hygiene protocol. This algorithm, nicknamed the Scrubber, is designed to peel away layers of presumed contamination, ground reflection, amplifier gain drift, atmospheric scintillation. It's like cleaning a dirty lens. She expects the spike to soften, smear, or break apart into recognizable components of noise. Instead, the opposite happens. As the algorithm subtracts the estimated background, the anomaly doesn't diminish, it sharpens. What was a single, messy pulse on the waterfall plot now resolves in the clean data. The visualization shifts. The crimson line separates, revealing a fine internal architecture. It's not a smooth blade of light, it's a comb. A series of incredibly rapid, discrete subpeaks within the broader envelope. The spike has internal structure. This is the first moment the truly unnatural nature of the signal hints at itself. A natural event, a pulsar glitch, a magnetar flare is chaotic at this timescale. This is ordered. Maya's fingers pause over the keyboard. It's not a spike. It's a series of discrete pulses, 1.6 seconds long, repeating every 11.3 seconds. Leaning closer to the screen, Maya isolates the 1.6-second event and tells the software to fold the subsequent data at a guess period. The algorithm searches for repetition. It finds it almost instantly. Exactly 11.3 seconds after the first event, the pattern repeats. Not a similar pattern, an identical one. The same 1.6-second complex cascade of subpulses. And again, 11.3 seconds later. And again. The signal is periodic, but its period is strange. It's too slow for a millisecond pulsar, too fast and too regular for a stellar flare. The precision is unnerving. She expands the view, looking back over the last hour of clean data. There it is, a perfect metronomic heartbeat emerging from the static. A 1.6-second asterisk dun 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 dada dun asterisk, then 9.7 seconds of silence, then again. It has been repeating for at least 67 minutes without a single microsecond of drift. Nature doesn't make clocks this perfect. Maya's professional detachment evaporates. She is no longer looking at an anomaly. She is looking at a asterisk signal asterisk. The room feels suddenly very cold and very, very quiet. The hunt has begun. Continuing directly from where the previous detailed explanation ended, here is the narrative expansion for headings 6 through 10, maintaining the same cinematic, procedural depth. The signal's frequency is 1.42 gigahertz, the hydrogen line, the watering hole of the universe. Maya's eyes dart to the frequency readout, a number she's seen a million times in textbooks and simulations, but never like this. Asterisk 1. 42,040,575,177 gigahertz, the precise resonance frequency of a neutral hydrogen atom as its electron flips spin. This is the most famous radio frequency in the cosmos, the gentle hum that fills the space between stars. It's the universal constant, the channel every civilization with a radio telescope would know exists. In SETI circles, it's called the watering hole, the logical place where disparate species might gather to listen or to call out. Finding an artificial signal here is the oldest dream. It's also the most cliché, the first thing amateurs look for, which makes seasoned professionals slightly skeptical of it. But here it is, not a faint whisper, but a structured, pounding drumbeat on that exact hallowed frequency. The coincidence is too perfect. It feels less like a discovery and more like a door being knocked upon, politely but insistently, on the most obvious door in the house. Chen's first thought, it's a pulsar. A newly discovered one. Training overrides all. The human mind, especially a scientific one, seeks the nearest known anchor. A pulsar, a rapidly spinning, magnetized neutron star, is the universe's ultimate lighthouse, beaming out regular radio pulses as it rotates. They are nature's most perfect clocks. That's it, she thinks, a wave of relief washing over her. She's found a new pulsar. It would be a great footnote in her career, a nice paper. Her brain rapidly fits the data to the model. The 1.42 gigahertz emission, the rock-solid period, the complex pulse shape some pulsars have. It all could fit. This mundane explanation is a life raft in a suddenly unnerving sea. She clings to it, actively wanting it to be true. It would mean the universe is still behaving according to the old, comfortable rules. She cross-references the coordinates, Ra 13H37M, Dec -29 degrees 51, against known pulsar catalogs. No match. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, pulling up the ATNF pulsar catalog, the master list of over 3,000 known pulsars. She inputs the coordinates, allowing for a small margin of error. The database churns. 0 results found. She tries a broader search, then checks the Swift-Bat-Hard X-ray catalog for possible magnetars, the volatile cousins of pulsars. Nothing. She queries the logs of the Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope for periodic sources in that region. 0. The life raft springs a leak. If it were a pulsar, it would be exceptionally bright and close to be so strong. A pulsar that bright, in a well-surveyed part of the southern sky, would have been tripped over by dozens of surveys decades ago. Its absence from every catalog is the first solid piece of evidence that this object is not just new, but profoundly strange. The coordinates, J13372951, now feel less like a location and more like a bullseye. She checks for known satellites or spacecraft in that line of sight. The region is empty. The last terrestrial escape hatch. She switches to the SpaceTrack database, the secure orbital catalog maintained by the U.S. Space Force. She models the line of sight from Canberra to that patch of sky, calculating which man-made objects from the International Space Station down to a screw-sized piece of debris could have been in that corridor at 3:14 a.m. The software renders a complex 3D diagram of orbits. The line pierces through it, missing everything. She checks for classified designators, objects whose orbits are public but whose purpose is not. A few are nearby, but their trajectories and known transmission profiles are off by degrees and gigahertz. She even runs a back check for possible reflections. Could a signal from a distant satellite have bounced off a piece of debris or the lunar surface to create this ghost echo? The geometry is impossible. The conclusion is inescapable and sterile. The signal did not originate from any object orbiting the Earth or from any point within the Moon's orbit. It came from deep space. She submits a preliminary report to her supervisor, Dr. Aris Thorne. The moment of commitment. Maya opens the internal messaging system. She creates a new high-priority incident report. The form requires categorization. She hesitates, then selects ANOM, non-terrestrial artificial origin suspected. It's a drop-down option she has never seen used in earnest. In the body, she is clinical, attaching the clean data files, the coordinate checks, the orbital analysis. She writes, detected persistent, structured periodic signal at 1.42 GHz from J13372951. Period 11.3s pulse structure complex and non-stochastic. Ruled out known pulsar, known satellite, terrestrial RFI and solar weather. Signal strength and stability anomalous. Request Level 2 review. Level 2 means involving the director of the facility. She takes a deep breath, her hand hovering over the trackpad. For a second, she considers picking up the phone. This feels like a phone call moment, but protocol is clear. The digital paper trail must start now. She clicks send. The notification pings in Dr. Aris Thorne's inbox, 10,000 miles away in Pasadena, where it is late morning. The institution, and by extension humanity, has now been formally notified. There is no taking it back. Continuing the detailed narrative breakdown in the established style. Here is the expansion for headings 11 through 20. Thorne is a 30-year SETI veteran, accustomed to thousands of false alarms. Dr. Aris Thorne receives the alert on his encrypted tablet during a budget meeting. He excuses himself, his expression unchanged. In his career, he has seen anomalous signals caused by a microwave oven on the JPL campus, a glitching chip on a spacecraft, and the rhythmic flicker of a quasar that, for one exciting week, mimicked a binary code. His gut reaction is a weary skepticism. He opens Chen's report expecting to see the usual flawed data processing or a parochial misunderstanding of orbital mechanics. His first glance is to the credentials of the sender, a junior postdoc. His bias confirms his suspicion, green analyst, but then he reads her methodology. The steps are correct, meticulous even. He looks at the attached data plot. The clean, folded pulse profile stares back at him. It's too clean. A cold, familiar tremor, when he hasn't felt in a decade, goes through him. Not excitement, but dread. This has the wrong asterisk shape for a false alarm. He examines the data's signal-to-noise ratio. It's improbably high for a deep space source. Thorne bypasses the summary and goes straight to the raw metrics. The signal-to-noise ratio, SNR, is ***15, 4**. This number is astronomically high for a non-solar system object. For context, the famous WOW signal had an SNR of about 30 but lasted 72 seconds and was never repeated. This signal is maintaining an SNR over 15, periodically, for hours. To be that loud from an interstellar or extragalactic distance would require a transmitter of staggering planet-scale power, or a natural emitter of unimaginable efficiency. His engineers mind rebels. Either the distance is wrong, it's something incredibly close but stealthy, or the power requirement breaks known physics. The SNR is the first hard data point that pushes this from interesting anomaly toward potential paradigm shift. He requests a raw data dump from the other DSN sites, Goldstone and Madrid. Thorne's first move is not celebration but contamination control. The golden rule: one dish, one signal, it's probably local. Two dishes, it could be a satellite or an atmospheric trick. Three asterisk dishes, separated by continental baselines, all seeing the same thing. That's cosmic. He sends priority directives to the deep space network complexes in Goldstone, California, and Madrid, Spain. He requests the raw, unprocessed data streams from their respective antennas for the exact same UTC time window and sky coordinates. He doesn't tell them why. The request comes with his highest-level authority code. In less than an hour, multi-terabyte data packets begin arriving on a secured server. The clock starts on the most critical verification in human history. The signal is present in all three datasets, confirming it is extraterrestrial in origin, not local interference. Thorne and Chen, now on a secured video link, run the analysis in parallel. They apply the same cleaning scripts to the Goldstone and Madrid data. The process is tense, silent. Then the plots render. There, in the data from the California desert, is the same 1.6-second pulse, the same 11.3-second period, and again from the plains of Spain. The timing is offset by milliseconds due to the light travel time between the sites, a delay that precisely matches the geometry of Earth's rotation. This final technical detail is the kill shot. It proves the signal's wavefront is coming from space, sweeping across the Earth. Every possibility of a local glitch, a software ghost, or a hoax is now statistically eliminated. Thorne leans back. "It's real," he says, the words hanging in the digital air between them. It is not a question. The triangulation from the three sites provides a rough direction, towards the constellation Centaurus. Using the nanosecond scale differences in the signal's arrival time at Canberra, Goldstone, and Madrid, the software performs a basic interferometric calculation. It traces a line back through the solar system, past the orbit of Pluto, into interstellar space. That line points unambiguously to a patch of the southern sky within the boundaries of the constellation Centaurus. It is not a precise pinprick yet. The DSN dishes are not an ideal array for fine angular resolution, but the vector is clear. The signal is not from the galactic center, not from a nearby star like Proxima Centauri. It's from asterisk behind the plane of our own galaxy. The plot and the mystery thickens. More specifically, towards a region known as the zone of avoidance, the dusty, star-clogged plane of our own Milky Way, which obscures the distant universe beyond. Thorne zooms the digital sky map in on the triangulated vector. It lands not on a famous nebula or galaxy, but on a dense, dusty lane of the Milky Way. Astronomers call it the zone of avoidance, ZOA. It's the galactic equator, where the view from Earth is choked with the gas, dust, and stars of our own spiral arm. Trying to see distant galaxies through the ZOA is like trying to see distant mountains through a blinding blizzard. It's a place of fundamental ignorance, a blank spot on the extragalactic map comprising nearly 20% of the sky. The signal is coming from within this cosmic whiteout zone. The dark side of our view, a place notoriously difficult to observe. This is the dark side referenced in the video title, not a place of literal darkness, but of informational darkness. It's the blind spot in humanity's cosmic vision. For centuries, telescopes have pointed away from it, toward the clearer poles of the galaxy. Any source within it is either a foreground object in our own galaxy, a star, a nebula, or something unimaginably distant and bright punching through the fog. The signal's choice of origin is immediately provocative. Is it hiding in plain sight, camouflaged by the cosmic static? Or is its location a statement, a deliberate broadcasting from a place we are not meant to easily see? Thorne assembles a confidential working group, Project Echo. Security protocols activate. Thorne contacts a select few, a radio astronomer from the Naval Research Lab with clearance, a quiet astrophysicist from the CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology, a signal processing guru from MIT's Lincoln Lab. He uses a burner-secure phone for the first calls. The group is given a code name, Project Echo. It's fitting. They are listening to a reflection from the distant past. Their virtual workspace is an air-gapped server with multi-factor authentication. Their mandate: determine the nature and origin of J13372951, assess any discernible intent, and evaluate potential implications, all under a blanket of total information blackout. The world must not know. Not yet. The first hypothesis: a previously unknown type of natural maser, a cosmic laser, amplified by some interstellar cloud. Before allowing thoughts of intelligence, Project Echo must exhaust nature. Their leading natural hypothesis is a megamaser. Natural masers, microwave amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, occur in space, often in regions of star formation where molecular clouds amplify specific radio frequencies. Could an immense, dense cloud of hydroxyl molecules or water vapor be acting as a cosmic amplifier for a background quasar, creating this freakishly coherent signal? The periodicity is the problem. Natural masers don't pulse with atomic clock regularity. But perhaps it's a binary system, where a neutron star's beam periodically sweeps through an amplifying cloud, creating a lighthouse with a lens effect. It's a stretch, but it's the best natural model they have. They cling to it. They task the Chandra X-ray Observatory to look for a high-energy source at the coordinates. To test the megamaser or any neutron star hypothesis, they need to see the engine. High-energy X-rays are the fingerprints of violent astrophysics, accretion disks, hot neutron star surfaces, black hole jets. Thorne uses his authority to file a director's discretionary time request with the Chandra X-ray Observatory team, citing an urgent, unspecified astrophysical anomaly. It's approved within hours. Chandra's precise optics slews to the coordinates. It begins a deep exposure, collecting every photon from that patch of sky. The question is simple: is there a powerhouse lurking in the dust, a natural object energetic enough to be the source? The answer will determine if Project Echo is studying a new astrophysical phenomenon or something else entirely. The wait for Chandra's data begins. Here is the detailed narrative expansion for headings 21 through 30, continuing the procedural, suspenseful tone. They task the Hubble and the newly operational James Webb Space Telescope to attempt to see through the galactic dust. With the Chandra observation underway, Project Echo launches a second, parallel line of attack: visual penetration. They need to see what, if anything, lies in the optical and infrared at J13372951. They request immediate target of opportunity time on the Hubble Space Telescope. Hubble's visible light cameras will see only the foreground stars of the Milky Way, but a detailed map is still critical. The real hope, however, is the newly commissioned James Webb Space Telescope. Its primary power is infrared vision, allowing it to peer through interstellar dust clouds that block visible light like fog. Submitting the request is an act of faith. JWST's schedule is booked years in advance, every minute fought over by the world's top astronomers. Using the same urgent, classified protocols, Thorne petitions the JWST Directorate. The request is extraordinary: to point humanity's most powerful eye at a seemingly empty, dusty patch of sky based solely on a radio signal. Weeks pass. The signal persists. It never drifts in frequency like a natural object would. It is rock-solid stable. The most unnerving characteristic of the signal reveals itself over time: its inhuman stability. Natural cosmic sources exhibit Doppler drift. A pulsar's pulse rate slows imperceptibly as it loses energy. A signal from an orbiting body would show rhythmic frequency shifts due to its motion. J13372951 shows none ****. Hour after hour, day after day, the 1.42 GHz carrier frequency remains locked, its 11.3-second period varying by less than a picosecond. This level of stability implies a timekeeping mechanism of staggering precision, an atomic clock on a cosmic scale, or a process governed by fundamental physics, not mechanics. This rock-solid consistency is, in many ways, more damning than the signal's content. Nature is turbulent, this is serene. It speaks of control, not chaos. Chandra finds nothing. No neutron star, no black hole accretion disk. The data from the Chandra X-ray Observatory arrives. Project Echo's astrophysicists analyze the deep field image. The region is quiet. There are no point sources of high-energy X-rays, no diffuse glows from hot gas, no telltale signatures of a neutron star's intense magnetic field or a feeding black hole's searing disk. The Megamacer engine hypothesis evaporates. There is no hidden powerhouse in our galactic neighborhood generating the signal. Whatever is creating the radio pulses is either inert in X-rays or is so far away that its high-energy emission is undetectable. The first major natural explanation, an energetic compact object, is conclusively ruled out. The tension in the virtual war room notch up. Hubble's optical image shows only a wall of stars. The dark side lives up to its name. Hubble's data confirms the obvious but necessary truth. The optical image is a stunning, dense tapestry of stars, thousands upon thousands of them, all belonging to the foreground disk of the Milky Way. It is a beautiful, impenetrable wall. There is no visible nebula, no odd-looking star, no distant spiral galaxy peeking through. It is the astronomical equivalent of a brick wall. The zone of avoidance is doing its job perfectly, blocking all optical view of the universe beyond. The signal's source, if it lies behind this wall, is completely obscured. The Hubble image is a dead end, but a critical one. It proves the source is not something visually peculiar in our own galaxy. But the James Webb, using its infrared eyes, begins to peer through the dust. Weeks after the Hubble observation, JWST completes its scheduled maneuver and slews to the coordinates. Its near-infrared camera, NIRCam, begins a long, multi-wavelength exposure. Infrared light, with its longer wavelengths, slips between dust grains that block visible light. As the data streams down, algorithms begin stacking and processing. At first, the image is just a reduction of the stellar fog. The bright points of foreground stars become slightly less dense. Then, as the integration time lengthens, something else emerges. Not points, but a faint, diffuse, reddish smear in the background. The dust is thinning. JWST is seeing through the wall. It reveals not a star in our galaxy, but the faint, smudged light of an extremely distant galaxy, over 2 billion light-years away. The smear resolves. It has structure, a faint, distorted elliptical glow. Photometric redshift analysis is run on its infrared color. The result is staggering. The light is redshifted by a factor of z equals 0.15, placing the object approximately *2, 3 billion light-years from Earth. It is not a star, not a nebula. It is an entire galaxy, one of the countless background galaxies normally hidden by the Milky Way's plane. This is the first visual identification of anything at the signal's origin. The implication is immediate and seismic. The 1.42 GHz pulses have traversed intergalactic space. They are not from our cosmic backyard. They are a shout from a continent of stars unimaginably far away. The signal is coming from beyond our galaxy. Its strength is now a profound mystery. The distance measurement changes everything. The signal's strength, which was notable before, now becomes physically shocking. The inverse square law is ruthless. A signal's intensity diminishes with the square of the distance. For a signal to be this clear on Earth after a 2.3 billion light-year journey, its power at the source defies belief. All previous calculations about transmitter power are now off by factors of billions. The energy required is no longer planet scale. It is civilization scale, perhaps even Kardashev-type I scale. The comfortable assumption that it might be a nearby, faint source is gone. They are dealing with something of literally cosmic power. A signal that strong, from that far away, would require energy equivalent to harnessing the total output of 1,000,000 suns. An astrophysicist on the ECHO team runs the numbers. To generate a narrowband signal detectable with an SNR of 15.4 at 2.3 billion light-years, the effective isotropic radiated power would need to be on the order of **1020 watts*. This is millions of times the total power output of our Sun across all wavelengths. It is energy comparable to the explosive output of a supernova, but channeled into a coherent, stable, pencil-thin radio beam lasting for presumably centuries or millennia. No known natural process, not the combined radio emission of all the stars in a galaxy, not a supernova remnant, not an active galactic nucleus in its normal state, can concentrate that much energy into a single, narrow, stable radio frequency. The number hangs in the air, a silent verdict. Natural astrophysical processes cannot explain this efficiency. The working group grows silent. The finality of the conclusion is palpable during the secure video conference. The team has run the gauntlet of explanations. Instrumental error, ruled out by 3 sites. Local object, ruled out by triangulation. Solar system object, ruled out by ephemeris, galactic pulsar magnetar, ruled out by catalogs and X-rays. Natural maser, ruled out by stability and lack of engine. Nearby star, ruled out by JWST's distance. Each door has been closed and locked. The combination of extreme distance, immense power, razor-thin bandwidth, and rock-solid stability leaves only one category of explanation remaining in the standard scientific lexicon: artificial asterisk. The silence on the call is not of confusion, but of comprehension. They have exhausted reality as they know it. The signal's bandwidth is examined. It is unnaturally narrow, just 1 Hz wide. Nature is messy. This is precise. In a final, almost pedantic act of analysis, they examine the signal's spectral width. A natural cosmic source emits over a range of frequencies. A pulsar's pulse might be hundreds or thousands of hertz wide due to scattering and magnetic effects. The emission line of hydrogen is about 1 megahertz wide in typical interstellar conditions. The signal from J1337291 is concentrated in a band just *1 hertz wide. This is a feat of engineering. It represents a transmitter of unimaginable spectral purity, as if a laser were being used in the radio spectrum. This 1 Hz bandwidth is the most technically demanding and blatantly artificial characteristic yet. It is the equivalent of finding a perfectly machined steel ball bearing in a prehistoric lava flow. It is not just evidence of technology. It is evidence of technology so advanced that its basic emission signature is, by the standards of known physics, almost obscenely refined. They analyze the pulse structure. The 1.6-second bursts are not simple. They contain subpulses. With the artificial nature of the carrier signal now accepted, Project ECHO turns to the asterisk content asterisk. They zoom in on the 1.6-second envelope of each major pulse. What looked like a single, complex shape on the waterfall plot is now dissected at the millisecond level. Inside that envelope, they find not a smooth curve, but a series of asterisk micropulses asterisk. Dozens of them. Some are shorter, some longer, some brighter, some fainter. It's as if the 1.6-second block is a container, and inside that container is a dense packet of even faster data. The structure is hierarchical: a slow 11.3-second outer clock, a 1.6-second data frame, and within that, a rapid-fire sequence of subpulses that could be anything from modulation to code. The signal is not just a beacon, it is a nested message. A Fourier transform of the subpulse timing reveals a non-random pattern. To test if the subpulses are just noise or have intentional structure, a mathematician on the team applies a Fourier transform to their timing. This algorithm identifies repeating patterns and periodicities. The result is not the smooth curve of random noise. Instead, it shows sharp, distinct peaks at specific intervals. The timing of the subpulses is not stochastic. It follows a hidden mathematical rule. They aren't placed randomly within the 1.6-second frame. They are positioned with precision, like the ticking of a second, more intricate clock inside the first. This is the first mathematical proof that the subpulses carry asterisk information. They are arranged, not omitted. Dr. Lena Petrov, a cryptographer from JPL on loan, is brought in under strictest secrecy. The problem shifts from astrophysics to decryption. Thorne requests a specialist from outside the usual astronomy circles. Dr. Lena Petrov is a Ukrainian-born information theorist who usually works on securing deep space spacecraft command links against interception. She is brought into a secured SCIF, sensitive compartmented information facility, at JPL, her phone taken, and told only that she will be analyzing a non-terrestrial signal of unknown origin. She signs a mountain of non-disclosure agreements. Her expertise is not in aliens, but in patterns, noise, and the fundamental signatures of intelligence within data streams. She is the perfect decoder, coming in with no SETI baggage, only a cold, analytical eye. She treats the intervals between subpulses as a binary code. Short gap equals 0, long gap equals 1. Petrov's first approach is the most basic in the cryptographer's toolkit, binarization. She ignores the pulse's amplitude and focuses purely on time. She measures the gaps between the peak of one subpulse and the peak of the next. She plots a histogram of these intervals. They cluster into two distinct groups, one around 22 milliseconds, another around 65 milliseconds. It's a clean, bimodal distribution. It's a binary alphabet, she mutters to herself. She assigns the short gap a value of 0 and the long gap a value of 1. Now, the 1.6-second frame transforms from a waveform into a string of bits: 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. She concatenates these strings from successive 11.3-second pulses, building a long, seemingly random binary sequence. The first 128 bits translate to nothing: random. She feeds the first 128 bits of her derived binary string into analysis software. She looks for patterns, repetitions, sync sequences, parity bits. She tries interpreting it as ASCII text, as simple integers, as machine code. The output is gibberish. The statistical tests show it has high entropy. It looks random. A cold doubt creeps in. Perhaps the bimodal gap distribution is a coincidence, a quirk of some natural modulation process. Maybe the team is seeing patterns in the static after all. She reports the initial null result to Thorne. The mood in the Echo team dips. The first foray into decoding has hit a wall. She tries different decoding schemes, prime number sequencing, instead of binary. Petrov refuses to be discouraged. She assumes her initial binarization is wrong. Perhaps it's not a binary code, but a ternary one: short, medium, long gaps representing 0, 1, 2. She remeasures, looking for a third cluster. There isn't one. She thinks of foundational mathematics. In the 1974 Arecibo message, humanity sent the numbers 1 through 10. The most universal concept might be mathematics itself. She looks for prime numbers, a sequence that is independent of biology, base systems, or language. She analyzes the subpulse asterisk positions within the frame, not just the gaps. Do the positions of the pulses correspond to the sequence of prime numbers pulse at position 2, 3, 5, 7, 11? They do not. She tries assigning values based on pulse asterisk duration instead of gap. Another dead end. For 2 days, it's a process of elegant, systematic failure. On the third day, she finds it. The intervals map to a sequence of prime numbers: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. Exhausted, Petrov goes back to her original binary gap sequence, but this time she doesn't look at the bits themselves. She looks at the asterisk lengths of the runs of consecutive zeros and ones. How many zeros in a row? How many ones in a row? She parses the bit string. 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0 becomes 1, 0, 2 ones, 2 zeros, 3 ones, 1, 0. The sequence of run lengths is asterisk 1, 2, 2, 3, 1. Still nothing. Frustrated, she tries a different segmentation of the bit stream, starting at a different pulse. This time the run lengths are asterisk 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. She stops breathing, she checks. The first run is 2 bits long, the next is 3, the next is 5, the next is 7, the next is 11. It's the sequence of prime numbers, encoded not in the asterisk value of the bits, but in the asterisk lengths of the bit runs. The sender isn't transmitting the primes. They are using the primes as a rhythmic framework to prove the signal's artificiality. It is a mathematical heartbeat. It's the universal hello, the most basic message any technological civilization might send to announce its existence. This is it, the first contact protocol dreamed of by Frank Drake and Carl Sagan. The prime number sequence is cosmically obvious, synthetically clear, and biologically neutral. It screams, we are here, and we are not natural. It is a beacon's beacon, designed to be the easiest possible pattern for another intelligence to recognize as artificial across the gulf of space and time. In that sequence 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, Petrov, Thorne, and the entire Echo team are reading the oldest and simplest sentence in the universe. Hello. The abstract possibility of extraterrestrial intelligence collapses into a concrete mathematical fact. The room is dead quiet. This is the moment SETI has dreamed of for 70 years. In the SCIF at JPL and on the secure video feeds across the country, no one speaks. There are no cheers, no high fives. The weight of the discovery is absolute, crushing in its significance. For 70 years, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence has been a fringe, hopeful, often mocked endeavor. In one moment, it has become the most important scientific discipline in human history. Every assumption about humanity's place in the cosmos is invalidated. The data on the screen is no longer just data, it is a monument. The silence is filled with the deafening roar of that single, decoded truth. They have done it. And it's a nightmare. The source is 2.3 billion light-years away. The signal is 2.3 billion years old. The euphoria of decoding lasts less than 10 seconds. Then, reality crashes back in with horrifying clarity. Thorne vocalizes what everyone is now computing. The JWST data, the redshift. The signal is not just from another star, it's from another asterisk galaxy asterisk, from an era when Earth was an alien world of volcanism and primitive prokaryotic life. The hello was broadcast 2.3 billion years ago. The civilization that crafted this pristine, perfect mathematical greeting did so before multicellular life existed on our planet. They are not our contemporaries. They are not even our ancestors. They are archaeologists, separated from us by an unfathomable chasm of time. The signal is not a message to us. It is a message to anyone asterisk, and we have just overheard a whisper from a corpse. The dream of contact curdles into the chilling realization. We are not entering a galactic community. We are reading an epitaph on a tombstone so old, the galaxy itself has changed since it was carved. The quiet in the room is no longer awe, it is dread. It was sent when Earth was inhabited only by single-celled organisms. The temporal distance becomes visceral. A physicist on the team pulls up a geological timeline. 2.3 billion years ago places us squarely in the Paleoproterozoic era. The Great Oxidation Event was just beginning, as cyanobacteria started poisoning the atmosphere with their toxic waste product, oxygen. The land was barren rock. The oceans teemed with microbial mats. There were no eyes to see the stars, no minds to conceive of mathematics or messages. While those ancient, simple cells divided in the sunlit shallows, a civilization in a distant galaxy, perhaps at the height of its powers, aimed a transmitter of godlike power towards the cosmic darkness and sent out a calling card. The juxtaposition is humbling and horrifying. Our entire evolutionary journey from microbe to radio astronomer has unfolded in the time it took their signal to reach us. The civilization that sent it is likely long extinct. This is the unavoidable, somber conclusion. The timescales of cosmic evolution are brutal. Stars are born and die in hundreds of millions of years. Over *2 billion years, spiral galaxies merge, supernovae sterilize planetary systems, and even the most resilient technological civilization would face existential filters. Resource depletion, societal collapse, stellar evolution, gamma-ray bursts. The probability that the senders still exist in any recognizable form is effectively zero. They are not a living culture we can talk to. They are an artifact, a fossil embedded in the radio spectrum. The legacy beacon, as they begin to call it, is not a phone call. It is a message in a bottle, tossed into the cosmic ocean an eternity ago by hands that have long since turned to dust. But the message doesn't stop at the prime sequence. The pulses continue for exactly 1 hour, then cease for 1 hour, then repeat. Just as this grim realization sets in, the signal itself provides a new, structuring mystery. Petrov's analysis of the long-term data shows the broadcast isn't continuous. It follows a perfect schedule: 60 minutes of the complex, sub-pulse transmission, followed by 60 minutes of absolute radio silence, then the cycle repeats. The on-off switch is thrown with the same flawless precision as the pulses themselves. This cadence eliminates any remaining notion of a transient natural burst. It is an asterisk transmission schedule, perhaps to conserve power, to allow for other operations, or to create a temporal framework for the message itself. The 1-hour unit feels oddly, intimately human, a coincidence that sends a shiver through the team. It suggests a conscious design for an audience that might perceive time in a relatable way. The off period is as regular as the on period. This is a structured broadcast. The perfection of the silence is as telling as the signal. During the off hour, the 1.42 GHz band is as quiet as the surrounding cosmos. There is no leakage, no spurious emission, no drift. The transmitter doesn't just turn off, it disappears. This indicates a technology capable of total suppression, or a transmission method so efficient it has zero baseline noise. The structure, 60 minutes on, 60 minutes off, transforms the signal from a mere announcement into a *** packetized data stream **. It implies the message is divided into chunks, that there is a beginning and an end to each transmission block, and that the receiver is expected to understand this framing. It is a protocol. Petrov decodes the next segment. It's a series of mathematical constants: pi, Euler's number, the fine structure constant. Guided by the prime number key, Petrov and her team isolate the data from the first on hour after the initial primer. They apply similar run length and positional decoding techniques. The next sequence that emerges is not another greeting but a lexicon. They decode a string of numbers. The first is a familiar, endless sequence beginning 3.14159. Pi, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. The next is 2.71828. Euler's number E, the base of natural logarithms. These are universal mathematical truths, a shared vocabulary. Then comes a more specialized number, *0, 0072973525693 *. It takes a physicist on the call to identify it instantly. The fine structure constant, denoted by alpha. This constant governs the strength of the electromagnetic force between elementary particles. It is one of the handful of pure, dimensionless numbers that define the fabric of our reality. The fine structure constant is shocking. It's a fundamental physical constant that should be the same everywhere in the universe. The inclusion of the fine structure constant sends a jolt through the physicists on Project Echo. Pi and E are mathematical abstractions. Alpha is a physical constant. For decades, a cornerstone of cosmology has been the cosmological principle. The laws of physics are the same everywhere in the universe. Alpha is a pillar of that principle. Its value here now is precisely measured. By transmitting it, the senders are ostensibly saying, "These are the rules of the game as we know them." It's an act of profound communion, establishing that we share not just math, but the same fundamental physics, or so they think. But the value they transmit is slightly different, by 1 part in a billion. A meticulous metrologist on the team, someone who works with atomic clocks and precision measurement, does what they do best. He compares the transmitted value of alpha to the most exquisitely precise laboratory value on Earth. He doesn't just check the first few digits, he checks them all. The numbers match perfectly until the 9th decimal place. There is a discrepancy, a tiny, almost insignificant shift, 1 part in a billion. It is far larger than any possible experimental error in the beacon's transmission or Earth's measurement. The team initially assumes it's a rounding error in the encoding, but the rest of the transmission is flawlessly precise. This feels intentional. The difference is a single grain of sand on a vast beach, but its presence implies the beach might be made of different material. Is it an error, a different way of representing it, or is it a clue that physics is not uniform across the cosmos? The speculation is immediate and profound. Hypothesis A, error, unlikely given the perfection of everything else. Hypothesis B, representation. Perhaps they use a different system of units or define the constant relative to a different particle property. Hypothesis C, the shocker. The fine structure constant is not constant. Its value varies subtly across the universe or has changed over cosmic time. Their value is correct for their location and time 2.3 billion years ago and 2.3 billion light-years away. If true, this single digit unravels modern physics. It means the universe is not homogeneous. Its laws have a texture, a history, a geography. The beacon isn't just sharing a constant. It might be sharing a local measurement offering the first data point for a new science, comparative cosmology. The third segment of the broadcast is a string of binary that, when rendered as a 1024 x 1024 pixel bitmap, creates an image. Following the header of primes and the lexicon of constants, the data in the next packet changes format. Petrov's algorithms identify a long, continuous binary stream with a recognizable header tag derived from the constants. The stream's length is exactly 1,048,576 bits. A quick calculation, 1024 multiplied by 1024. It's a square. They write a simple script to take each bit as a pixel, 0 for black, 1 for white. They feed the binary string in row by row. On the screen, an image begins to form, not from the top down, but in a spiraling pattern from the center outward. It is not a natural scene. It is a diagram. Clean, schematic lines emerge from the noise. It's a simple diagram, a star with 8 planets. The third planet is marked with a dot. The rendered image is stark and unambiguous. A central circle radiating wavy lines to indicate light. Orbiting it are 8 smaller circles at varying distances. It is a solar system. The third rocky body from the star is highlighted with a pixel-perfect dot at its center. There is no artistic flair, no attempt at realism, just informational clarity. This is a map, but it is not ours. Our solar system has 8 planets, but the orbital spacings are wrong. The gas giants are in different orders. The asteroid belt is missing. This is their home system. They have sent a cosmic return address. The marked planet is their homeworld. The dot is not just a location marker, it is an invitation. We were here. This is where you can look if your telescopes are powerful enough to see the ruins of our world from across the intergalactic void. It is a gesture of stunning, melancholic honesty. Beside it is a chemical formula, H2O Co2CH4. Adjacent to the diagram of the solar system, rendered in the same minimalist, schematic style, are three molecular structures. They are not written as letters, but as connected circles representing atoms. Two small circles linked to a larger one, H2O, a central circle with two extensions linked to two other circles, Co2, and a central circle with four connections to smaller ones, CH4. Beneath these schematics, a string of binary decodes into a numerical index that correlates to the atomic numbers of hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. It is a universal chemical notation. The message is explicit. The atmosphere of the third planet contains water vapor, carbon dioxide, and methane. This is the signature of a living, breathing world. On Earth, this combination, especially the coexistence of methane and oxygen, implied by the CO2, is a powerful biosignature, maintained out of equilibrium by life. It's a depiction of a solar system, with a habitable world and its atmospheric signature. The image is now a complete profile. It is not just an address, it is a biometric ***. They have provided a portrait of their home, its place in its family of planets, and the specific chemical breath of its biosphere. This does two things. First, it confirms their biological nature. They are, or were, beings of chemistry living on a world with a carbon and water-based ecosystem. Second, it establishes a profound commonality. They are saying, we recognize that a world like this with an atmosphere like this is a place where beings like us can arise. You, finding this message, likely come from such a place too. It is an act of cosmic empathy, bridging the unimaginable gulf with the most fundamental shared experience, planetary life. But it's not our solar system. The orbital distances and gas giant placements are all wrong. The initial, heart-stopping hope that this might be a message-directed asterisk, specifically asterisk at humanity, evaporates under cold analysis. An orbital dynamicist on the team models the system. The relative distances of the planets from their star, deduced from the diagram's spacing, do not match the ratios of our own solar system. More tellingly, the positions of the large, gaseous planets, indicated by larger circles with stylized ring structures, are in different orbits. In our system, the gas giants are all in the outer solar system. In their diagram, one gas giant orbits close to the star, inside what would be the habitable zone for a smaller world. This is a different architectural blueprint altogether. The relief is palpable, but so is a new loneliness. The message is generic, meant for anyone. We are not the chosen recipients. We are eavesdroppers on a broadcast meant for the universe. It is a map of their asterisk home system, sent as a return address. The purpose of the diagram crystallizes. After the universal hello primes and the shared language constants, this is the from line. It is an act of staggering transparency and vulnerability. They are giving coordinates to their cradle, knowing full well that by the time the message arrives, the cradle may be long empty. It is a gesture devoid of apparent fear, full of a quiet archaeological dignity. It says, "This is where we began. Look if you can and remember us." It transforms the signal from an abstract mathematical exercise into a poignant, personal artifact. They had a home. They loved it enough to send its picture across the void. The fourth segment is more complex data. Spectral lines, isotopic ratios, complex organic molecules. The broadcast continues. The next data packet, identified by another header derived from the mathematical constants, is denser and more specialized. Decoded, it resolves into precise lists, emission and absorption lines for elements not just in bulk but in specific isotopic ratios, the proportion of carbon-12 to carbon-13, for instance. Then come structural diagrams of increasingly complex molecules, sugars, nucleotides, amino acid chains, lipids. It is not a DNA sequence. It's something analogous but chemically distinct, using different chiralities and base pairs. This is no longer just a planetary profile. It is a datasheet for their biology. They are sending the schematic of their own building blocks, the chemical alphabet of their life. It appears to be a compressed, schematic representation of their planet's biology and chemistry. The team's biochemists and astrobiologists are brought to tears. This is the holy grail of their field, the operating manual for an alien biosphere, delivered on a platter. The data is highly compressed, using the mathematical constants as a reference framework, but it is comprehensible. It shows a system based on familiar principles: carbon chains, liquid solvent, but executed with fascinating differences. Their equivalent of proteins might use 25 standard amino acids instead of 20. Their genetic material might be triple-stranded. It is a gift of inconceivable scientific value. It is also a hauntingly intimate self-portrait. They are not just saying, "We are here." They are saying, "This is what we are made of." The fifth segment is pure, high-density data. It's indecipherable. It could be anything: an encyclopedia, a history, a set of instructions. After the self-portrait comes the mystery. The final major segment of the hour-long transmission is a torrent of data. Petrov's decoders hit a wall. The earlier segments had clear headers and used the established lexicon, primes, constants as a Rosetta Stone. This segment uses a different, unknown encryption or compression algorithm. Statistical analysis shows it is not random. It has complex, repeating patterns at multiple scales, but it yields nothing to their attempts to unpack it. It could be their entire cultural and scientific knowledge: art, music, literature, physics, technology. It could be a historical record. It could, more disturbingly, be a set of instructions or blueprints. It is the locked chest attached to the clearly labeled shipping crate. The working group now faces the ultimate question. Is this a beacon, a message in a bottle, or a *** delivery? The structure of the broadcast forces a strategic debate. A beacon is just a lighthouse, a simple "we exist" signal. The primes alone would suffice for that. A message in a bottle ** implies more content, a letter. The constants, the map, the biology constitute a profound letter, but a delivery * implies something functional. The indecipherable payload is the * product. The working group splits. Some argue the senders are merely sharing knowledge, a cosmic library of Alexandria. Others, led by Thorne, have a darker, more pragmatic view. The meticulous structure: primer, language key, return address, biochemical schematics, feels like the setup for a technical document. It feels like the cover page and safety warnings for a very complex IKEA manual. Thorne argues the final data packet is the payload. The primes, the math, the map, they are the address, label, and shipping manifest. Thorne lays out his case in a secure briefing. They didn't cross 2.3 billion light-years just to say hello and show us their family photo, he says. Look at the progression. It's a phased handshake. Step 1. Get attention with a universally recognizable pattern. Step 2. Establish a shared mathematical and physical vocabulary. Step 3. Provide context, who and where we are, proving we're real biological entities. Step 4. Give you the chemical context to understand the next part. All of that is preamble. It's the label on the box telling you what's inside, where it's from, and how to open it. The fifth segment is the box. Everything else is just the packing slip. The true message is in the indecipherable data. It is meant to be decoded by someone with the right key. The chilling implication of Thorne's theory is that they have not yet received the full message. They have only received the * instructions for how to receive it *. The key to decrypting the final payload is hidden within the earlier segments, or perhaps will become apparent only after meeting some unstated condition. The fine structure constant anomaly might be part of the key, a correction factor needed for decryption based on local physics. Or perhaps building something, a receiver and interpreter based on the schematics in the payload itself is the next step. The beacon is not a monologue, it is the first step in a dialogue, or worse, a test. The indecipherable data sits on their servers, a silent sphinx, waiting for humanity to pose the right question or develop the right tool to unlock its secrets. The search for a signal has ended. The search for a key has just begun. Rumors begin to leak. Astronomy message boards buzz about a big anomaly in Centaurus. Secrecy, even at the level of Project Echo, is a porous container. It's not a malicious leak, but a statistical inevitability. An engineer at Goldstone mentions an all-hands verification request to a spouse who works at an observatory. A data archiver at the Space Telescope Science Institute notices an urgent, classified JWST target overlap and posts an anonymized, cryptic query on an astronomy forum. Anyone else seeing weird DSN traffic on Centaurus, a region? J1337 something. The post is quickly buried, but not before it's screenshotted. On Reddit's Our Astronomy and specialized Discord servers, a low hum begins. Old-timers recall the WOW signal coordinates. Amateurs start pointing their dishes, not knowing the precise frequency or modulation, but creating a buzz of speculation. The dam hasn't broken, but water is seeping through every seam. An amateur radio astronomer in New Zealand independently detects a faint echo of the signal and posts his findings. This is the catalyst. Ian McAllister, a retired electrical engineer in a radio-quiet valley outside Dunedin, New Zealand, has a sophisticated homemade array. He's monitoring the hydrogen line out of habit, logging data for a crowdsourced galactic hydrogen mapping project. Scanning near the Centaurus region, his software flags a repeating pattern. It's faint, buried in noise, but his cleanroom signal processing, honed over decades, pulls out the characteristic 11.3-second period. Unaware of Project Echo, he believes he's discovered a new pulsar. Elated, he posts his folded pulse profile, coordinates, and period to a public database and an international amateur astronomy mailing list. His post title, Candidate New PSR, J13372951, strong, stable period, seeking confirmation. Within an hour, professionals on that list who have heard the whispers see it. The cat is now not only out of the bag, it has published its own peer-reviewed paper. The story breaks on a popular science blog. Has NASA found it? A tech journalist with a passion for astronomy monitors the amateur forums. He sees McAllister's post. He cross-references it with the earlier vague rumors about DSN traffic and urgent telescope time. He calls contacts at JPL and NASA Public Affairs. The stonewalling is a tell. Instead of the usual, we don't comment on ongoing analysis. He gets a terse, no comment at this time, followed by a click. He writes the story, careful to stick to what's public. The amateur detection, the strange coordinates, the unnatural stability, and the deafening silence from official channels. The headline is a question, but the article's tone is one of grim certainty. It goes live at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. It trends globally within 30 minutes. The genie cannot be put back in the bottle. NASA and the White House are forced to plan a public announcement. The blog post triggers a political earthquake. NASA's Public Affairs Office is inundated. The White House press secretary faces a barrage of questions at the daily briefing, offering only "we're aware of the reports and are seeking more information," which fuels the fire. In the Situation Room, a crisis meeting is convened not for a war, but for a revelation. The president, briefed only at the highest level weeks prior, now faces the inevitability of public disclosure. The debate is no longer about asterisk if asterisk, but how. Do they downplay it? Do they release everything? A joint NASA-White House task force, Operation Truth, is formed with a mandate. Craft a statement that is truthful enough to be credible, controlled enough to prevent panic, and solemn enough to match the moment. They have 48 hours. The president's science advisor, a physicist, reviews the data. Her conclusion: this is not just a discovery of life. It is a discovery of asterisk legacy. Dr. Anya Sharma, the president's science advisor, sits in a secure room with Thorne and the core ECHO team. She reviews the decoded primes, the constants, the map, the biochemistry. She listens to the analysis of the distance and the temporal chasm. A theoretical physicist by training, she grasps the implications instantly. She addresses the working group and the assembled national security officials. "You are framing this incorrectly," she says, her voice calm. "This is not a first contact scenario. There will be no dialogue. This is not the discovery of asterisk life. We have discovered a asterisk legacy asterisk, a will and testament, a civilization that knew it was dying or transforming or transcending and chose to spend a portion of its final energies to etch its signature onto the universe. We are not meeting a neighbor. We are the heirs reading the last letter of a great-grandfather we never knew." The day of the announcement, the world watches. The announcement is scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern, prime time across the Americas, early morning in Asia, the middle of the night but utterly ignored in Europe. It is carried on every major network, streaming on every platform. There are no commercials. The White House briefing room is packed, but the statement will come from NASA headquarters. The world holds its breath. Social media is a strange, anticipatory silence, less chatter, more a collective nervous hovering. In living rooms, bars, and public squares, people gather. The pre-roll music is somber, orchestral. The gravity is that of a state funeral or the declaration of a war. The countdown hits 0. The NASA administrator's statement is careful, sobering. They confirm an artificial signal of extragalactic origin. They reveal the distance. The NASA administrator, a former astronaut, steps to the podium. Her face is etched with a profound seriousness. She does not smile. She bypasses any poetic preamble. "Ladies and gentlemen, the Deep Space Network, in collaboration with international partners, has confirmed the detection of a radio signal that is unequivocally artificial in origin. It is not from any human source. It originates from beyond our galaxy, at a distance of approximately 2.3 billion light-years." She pauses, letting the numbers sink in. She shows the folded pulse profile, the decoded prime sequence graphic. The signal contains a mathematical primer, universal constants, and what we believe to be a schematic of its point of origin. The civilization that created this signal did so at a time when life on Earth was in its most primitive, single-celled state. The statement is brutally factual. There is no, "We are not alone." There is only, "We have found a monument." The immediate global reaction is not celebration, but a profound, existential quiet. The expected chaos does not materialize. There is no mass celebration in Times Square, no instant religious revivals or collapses. The first dominant global reaction is a stunned, deep silence, a collective intake of breath held. The scale is too vast, the implications too heavy for cheers. The distance, 3 billion light-years, acts as a psychological shock absorber. It is too far away to be a threat, too ancient to be a partner. It induces not fear but a vertigo of insignificance and a crushing weight of cosmic loneliness. People look up at the night sky not with wonder but with a new, somber understanding. It is a graveyard dotted with the tombstones of giants. The silence is the sound of human exceptionalism dying. The Fermi paradox is instantly inverted. The universe isn't silent. It was full of voices, but we are listening to an ancient echo. Within hours, scientists and philosophers on news panels articulate the seismic shift. The Fermi paradox, "Where is everybody?" has been based on a faulty assumption that technological civilizations would be contemporaneous. The legacy beacon provides the answer. They were everywhere. They rose, they flourished, they broadcast, and they fell over timescales that make the lifespan of species and stars look fleeting. The universe isn't empty. It's a palimpsest, layer upon layer of dead civilizations. The great silence is not a silence of absence, but a silence of time asterisk. We haven't heard voices because we've been listening for a conversation in a room where everyone spoke and died eons ago. We are archaeologists sifting through static, hearing echoes in a cathedral long abandoned by its builders. The signal is named the Legacy Beacon. The naming is organic, emerging simultaneously from scientific circles and social media. The Centaurus signal is too clinical. The J1337 message is sterile. The Legacy Beacon sticks because it perfectly encapsulates Dr. Sharma's framing. It is not a call. It is a bequest. The name confers a dignity upon the senders and sets the appropriate tone for humanity's response, not one of panic or giddy excitement, but of solemn, responsible inheritance. NASA officially adopts the name within the week. It enters the lexicon. The Legacy Beacon, a gift, a mystery, and a headstone all in one. The first chapter of the story, the detection, is over. The second chapter, the deciphering of the legacy, is now humanity's shared task. Within 24 hours, every major radio telescope on Earth is pointed at the coordinates J13372951. The announcement acts as a global starting pistol. Institutional protocols and competitive secrecy vanish. The astronomical community operates as a single organism. From the high deserts of Chile to the plains of West Virginia, from the karst hills of China to the outback of Australia, massive parabolic dishes begin a slow, synchronized pirouette. Observation schedules for studying black holes, newborn stars, and distant galaxies are scrapped. The Legacy Beacon is now the only target that matters. It is a moment of unparalleled scientific unity, driven by a need to verify, to participate, and to touch this artifact for themselves. The silent sky is now stitched with countless electronic ears, all listening to the same ancient whisper. The Very Large Array, the Allen Telescope Array, the 500-meter aperture spherical telescope, fast in China. The icons of radio astronomy become dedicated beacon monitors. The Very Large Array, VLA, in New Mexico, uses its 27 movable dishes to create an interferometer with exquisite sensitivity, confirming the signal's structure and ruling out any subtle astrophysical mimicry. The Allen Telescope Array, ATA, in California, built specifically for SETI, uses its hundreds of smaller dishes to monitor the beacon across a wide band of frequencies simultaneously, searching for any ancillary signals or sidebands. In China, the colossal 500-meter aperture spherical telescope, FAST, the world's largest single dish, acts like a cosmic ear trumpet. Its raw collecting power detects the signal with stunning clarity, pulling in photons that left the source before multicellular life existed on Earth. The data from all three converges, creating an ultra-high-fidelity portrait of the transmission. They confirm everything. They also discover something new. The signal has a polarization signature. The independent confirmations are a formality, but the new observation is a revelation. Sophisticated receivers at the VLA and FAST analyze not just the intensity and frequency of the waves, but their orientation, their polarization. They find the beacon's electromagnetic waves are not randomly oriented. They are circularly polarized, and the direction of the twist, left-handed or right-handed, is not static. It rotates in a precise, repeating sequence synchronized with the 11.3-second pulse period. This is not a natural effect of interstellar magnetic fields, which would create a simpler, scrambled polarization. This is a deliberately imposed modulation, like twisting the strands of a rope to strengthen it or encode information along its length. The electromagnetic waves are twisted in a specific, rotating pattern. This is a technique to pack more data or to indicate a specific type of receiver. The polarization pattern becomes a new puzzle. Engineers recognize it as a form of polarization multiplexing. By controlling the twist of the waves, you can effectively send two or more separate data streams on the same frequency at the same time, vastly increasing bandwidth. It's like broadcasting in color instead of black and white. Alternatively, the specific pattern could be a *** handshake signal ***, a technical signature meant to be recognized by a receiver built to a certain specification. It says, in effect, this message requires a receiver that can understand polarized light in this specific way. It's a filter, ensuring that only a civilization with a sufficiently advanced understanding of electromagnetic theory can even properly collect the full message. Theorists propose this polarization could be a key to decompressing the final data packet. The focus immediately shifts to the indecipherable fifth segment. Petrov's team had hit a wall with the binary data. Now, a new hypothesis emerges. What if they have only been reading half the data? The intensity modulation, the on-off pulses, gave them one stream. The polarization modulation could contain a second, interwoven stream. The true message, the final payload, might only emerge when the two streams are combined using a specific algorithm. The polarization pattern itself might be the decryption key. The beacon's designers didn't just send an encrypted message. They sent the lock and the key separately, on different properties of the same beam, ensuring only a sophisticated recipient could bring them together. Meanwhile, cosmologists are having a crisis over the transmitted fine structure constant. While radio astronomers dissect the signal's structure, a parallel earthquake rocks theoretical physics. The 1 part in a billion discrepancy in the fine structure constant alpha is not fatting as a curiosity. It is hardening into a potentially catastrophic fact. Teams at CERN, the Perimeter Institute in Cambridge, are rerunning the most fundamental equations of the Standard Model, plugging in the beacon's value for alpha. The results are minor but non-zero. If alpha is variable, even by this infinitesimal amount across 2.3 billion light-years, it means the forces that hold atoms together, that govern chemistry and light itself, are not absolute laws but local bylaws ***. The universe is not a uniform canvas. It has a texture, a grain, and the rules differ slightly from neighborhood to neighborhood. If that constant varies across the universe, the bedrock of physics, the Standard Model is not universal, it's local. This realization dismantles a core tenet of modern science, the cosmological principle that the laws of physics are the same everywhere. If alpha varies, then our entire understanding of reality is provincially limited, like a fish that believes water has the same viscosity everywhere in the ocean. Our Standard Model is not the universal rulebook. It is merely the * edition valid in our local cosmic vicinity and our current epoch. The beacon's transmission is thus not just a message, but a * data point * from a different physical regime. They didn't make an error, they reported their local truth. Physics now needs a meta-theory, a theory of why the constants are what they are and how they change. This would explain the impossible strength of the signal. They might be using physics we don't understand. The anomaly of alpha provides a terrifyingly elegant solution to the power problem. The team had calculated that generating the beacon required the energy of millions of suns, based on our * local value of alpha, which governs electromagnetic coupling efficiency. But what if, in their region of space 2.3 billion years ago, the value of alpha was subtly different in a way that made the electromagnetic force more efficient for energy transmission? Or what if they had access to physical principles or dimensions that allow for energy transduction at near-unity efficiency, principles linked to variable constants? The beacon isn't just a product of advanced engineering. It might be a product of a subtly different physics ***. Its very existence is a hint to a deeper layer of reality. Dr. Chen proposes a terrifying idea. What if the final data packet isn't a message, but a * test? A puzzle to see if we are advanced enough to solve it. Maya Chen, now a central figure in Project Echo, voices the fear that has been haunting the periphery of their discussions. During a strategy meeting, she says, "We've been assuming the payload is a gift, a library, but what if it's an *** exam?" She lays it out. The primes are the cover page. The constants and the map are the instructions. The polarization key is the first question. The indecipherable data is the final, complex problem. The beacon isn't a legacy to be read, it's a filter. Its purpose is to find civilizations that have reached a specific threshold of collaborative science, mathematical ingenuity, and technological capability. Passing the test might grant access to a deeper network, a higher tier of knowledge. Failing it might simply mean you remain in the dark. And if we solve it, what then? Does it unlock more data, or does it trigger something? Chen's question hangs in the air, bifurcating the future into two stark possibilities. Scenario A, the library. Solving the puzzle simply unlocks the rest of the transmission, the encyclopedia, the art, the blueprints. It's a reward for intellectual maturity. Scenario B, the trigger. Solving the puzzle does something functional. It might broadcast a asterisk response from Earth automatically, announcing our location and capabilities to the network. It might activate a dormant process in the beacon itself, or in some other, unseen piece of infrastructure. It might be a cosmic rite of passage, with unknown consequences. The beacon is no longer a passive monument. In this light, it is a button, and humanity's collective hand is hovering over it, debating whether to press. The search for a key has become a debate about opening a door when you have no idea what's on the other side. The global debate, to reply or not to reply, dominates news cycles. The initial stunned silence gives way to a global clamor of voices. The question is no longer abstract. It is the most urgent political, philosophical, and practical issue facing humanity. Pundits, politicians, and philosophers fill news panels 24/7. Social media fractures into camps with hashtags. Answer the call versus silences safety . Talk shows host debates between astronomers and survivalists. The debate transcends science. It is a referendum on human nature itself. Are we curious, gregarious beings or fearful, insular ones? Every aspect of society is forced to take a side on a question with no precedent and potentially infinite stakes. One faction, led by prominent scientists, warns against shouting into the dark. We know nothing of their motives, even if they are dust. The silence faction is led by elder statesmen of science, invoking the cautionary tales of history. A renowned evolutionary biologist appears before the UN, arguing, when a more advanced civilization encounters a less advanced one on Earth, it never ends well for the latter. And the senders were immeasurably more advanced. We have no idea if the beacon is a solitary artifact, or part of a galactic-scale system that is still monitored. Replying announces our presence, our technological level, and our location with the subtlety of a flare gun. They may be dust, but what if they left behind? Caretakers. Or what if other, less benevolent listeners are monitoring the same frequencies? Shouting into the dark is not bravery, it is folly. Their motto becomes a stern, simple warning from Stephen Hawking, often quoted. We should be wary of answering back. Another faction argues we have a moral and scientific duty to answer. We are now part of a galactic community, even if it's a community of ghosts. The answer faction, led by younger scientists, ethicists, and explorers, frames the issue as one of cosmic citizenship. A prominent astrobiologist argues, for 2.3 billion years, their message traveled in solitude. To receive it and remain silent is an act of unforgivable ingratitude and cowardice. We are now part of a conversation that spans eons. Our reply may never reach them, but it completes the circuit. It is our received, understood, and acknowledged. It is an act of respect for the legacy they left. They argue that the very act of cautious, careful reply would force humanity to unite, to think as a planet, to consciously craft an identity to present to the cosmos. The risk, they claim, is outweighed by the moral imperative to say, we are here too, we heard you. Religious leaders across the globe grapple with the theology of a creation that contained other, older children of God. The revelation triggers the greatest theological upheaval in centuries. The Vatican convenes a secret council of astronomers, theologians, and philosophers. Imam's issue Fut was seeking to understand the place of non-earthly intelligences in the story of creation. Rabbis debate the implications for the concept of *Tzelem, Elohim, the divine image. Some fundamentalist sections predictably denounce the signal as a demonic deception. But the mainstream response from most major faiths is one of expansive, if shaken, reinterpretation. A joint statement from interfaith leaders captures the mood. The discovery does not diminish the divine, it expands our understanding of its canvas. If God is the creator of the universe, then we have simply learned that his family is larger and older than we knew. They, too, were beloved creations. Religion, for the most part, chooses to absorb the shock not by rejecting science, but by enlarging the scope of the sacred. A unified scientific front begins the Decryption Initiative, a global open-source effort to crack the final data packet. Pragmatically, the global scientific community realizes the reply debate is premature until they understand what they've actually received. Under the auspices of the International Astronomical Union and UNESCO, the Legacy Beacon Decryption Initiative is launched. It is a Manhattan Project for data. Firewalls are lowered. Data from FAST, the VLA, and every other telescope is pooled in a neutral, Swiss-hosted supercomputing hub. The fifth data packet, the indecipherable payload, is released publicly, along with the primer, constants, and polarization data. The initiative's motto, understand the message before you consider the response. Volunteers use distributed computing, like SETI at home, to run trillions of decryption algorithms. The Decryption Initiative harnesses global idle computing power. An app, *Beacon Cruncher, is downloaded by hundreds of millions. It works like the old SETI at home, but instead of analyzing radio noise, it runs brute force and heuristic algorithms on the encrypted payload. Users watch as their phones and laptops test decryption keys derived from the polarization sequence, the fine structure constant anomaly, and mathematical permutations of the prime series. It is the largest collective computational effort in history, a planet thinking in unison on a single problem. Gamification elements are added, leaderboards for contributing processing time, making every participant feel like a part of the deciphering team. Months pass, the signal continues its relentless hourly cycle. As the world debates and computes, the beacon itself remains the universe's most punctual performer. On the hour, every hour, the complex pulse train begins. 60 minutes later, it ceases. This metronomic reliability becomes a background rhythm to the new human era. It is no longer startling. It is a fact of existence, like the tides. Radio telescopes keep a constant vigil, but no new features are discovered. The signal is complete, self-contained, and impervious to inquiry. It does not respond to the frantic attention. It simply is asterisk. This passive, unwavering repetition feeds the test hypothesis. It feels like a teacher waiting silently for the student to find the answer. Breakthrough. A team at CERN notices the polarization pattern matches a theoretical model for higher dimensional information transfer. The breakthrough comes not from astronomy, but from particle physics. Researchers at CERN, studying the mathematics of Calabi-Yau manifolds, theoretical extra-dimensional shapes in string theory, recognize a familiar pattern. The rotating, precessing polarization signature of the beacon maps perfectly onto a mathematical function describing the projection of a rotating 4D or 5D object into our 3D space. It's like watching a 3D shadow of a rotating 4D tesseract. The shadow's shape changes in a complex, periodic way. The polarization isn't just a carrier for a second data stream. It is a asterisk signpost asterisk indicating the data's native format. They hypothesize the data is not two-dimensional, like an image, but multidimensional. It needs to be unfolded. The CERN team publishes a landmark paper. Their hypothesis: the fifth data packet is not a linear string of bits or a 2D image. It is a multidimensional dataset, a 4D hypervolume of information, or even higher. Our attempts to decode it as a file have failed because we've been trying to read a book by looking only at the spine. The polarization key provides the instructions on how to unfold this hyperdimensional structure into a form we can comprehend. The payload could contain not just text and images, but interconnected datasets where concepts have depth, relationships are spatial, and information exists in a form more akin to an experience or a structure than a document. Using quantum computing algorithms, they begin to model the data as a four-dimensional structure. The decryption initiative pivots. The brute force distributed computing project is repurposed to feed data into the world's most advanced quantum computers, like those at Google, IBM, and in Chinese labs. Quantum algorithms are uniquely suited for manipulating high-dimensional spaces. They begin to model the payload as a 4D lattice. The binary bits become vertices in a hypercube. The polarization pattern provides the transformation matrix to rotate and project this lattice. It is a painstaking process of digital origami, trying to fold the flat data back into its true, higher-dimensional shape. For the first time since the detection, the indecipherable wall of data begins to show internal, coherent structure under this new lens. The first unfolded layers reveal what look like schematics. The first successful unfold reveals not text or pictures, but what appears to be a schematic asterisk. After months of quantum processing, the first coherent 3D projection of the 4D data structure stabilizes on the screens at CERN and the Decryption Initiative hub. It is not a page of glyphs or a portrait of alien beings. It is a dense, three-dimensional wireframe diagram composed of interconnected nodes, lines, and geometric solids. It rotates slowly in the simulation, revealing nested assemblies and subcomponents. The sense of intimate revelation, hopes for alien art or poetry, is replaced by a colder, more technical awe. The payload is not a cultural archive. It is a technical drawing asterisk. The sender's ultimate legacy is a blueprint. It's a diagram of a complex machine, or part of one, components labeled with symbols matching the earlier mathematical constants. Engineers and physicists crowd around the display. The diagram's complexity is staggering, resembling the combined schematics for a particle accelerator, a fusion reactor, and a gravitational wave detector, all fused into one unknown whole. Crucially, key points on the diagram are annotated not with text, but with the same symbolic representations of the mathematical constants sent in the second segment. The symbol for pi next to a crystalline oscillator ring, Euler's number E associated with a growth-like branching circuit, and the precise value of the fine structure constant alpha linked to what looks like a main energy coupling junction. The primer segment provided the legend for reading the schematic. This is a machine built from first principles. The schematic is for a device that manipulates spacetime, a generator of controlled gravitational waves. Teams of gravitational physicists and general relativists are brought in. After weeks of analysis, they reach a consensus. The core function of the device is not electromagnetic. It does not broadcast radio waves or lasers. Its primary components, massive, orbiting superconducting rings, precisely tuned resonant cavities, and lenses made of postulated exotic matter, are designed to generate and focus coherent gravitational waves . Not the chaotic ripples from black hole mergers, but patterned, controlled ripples in spacetime itself. It is a gravitational wave transmitter *, or more accurately, a spacetime modem *. It manipulates the fabric of reality to encode information, a technology orders of magnitude beyond our own. Further unfolding reveals what looks like a power source, a diagram of a star with magnetic field lines being tapped, a Dyson sphere variant. As more layers of the 4D schematic are unpacked, a separate massive subsystem comes into view. It depicts a star, not as a simple power symbol, but with intricate magnetic field lines rendered in detail. Around it is a complex non-solid lattice structure, not a solid shell, but a dynamic swarm of collectors and transmitters that harness the star's magnetic dynamo and stellar wind, not just its light. This is a stellar magnetospheric turbine a variant of a Dyson sphere that extracts energy from a star's magnetic field, a concept theorized but far beyond human engineering. The power source and the spacetime modulator are two parts of a single, integrated system. The beacon wasn't just powerful, it was plugged into the heart of a star. The legacy beacon is not just a hello. It is a time capsule a package of advanced knowledge left for any civilization that reaches a certain technological level. The true purpose of the entire transmission snaps into focus. The primes were the ringing of the doorbell. The constants and the map were the label. Advanced physics, handle with care. The encrypted payload was the vault. Inside the vault is not a history book, but a tool. The beacon is a cosmic seed bank, but instead of storing genomes, it stores the schematic for the next level of technological civilization. It is a hand-me-down from an elder species to any juniors clever enough to find it and disciplined enough to decipher it. It is a gift of responsibility, not just information. But why? A theory gains traction, the galactic library hypothesis. Ancient civilizations upload their knowledge into beacons as their final act, preserving themselves against cosmic time. The why dominates theoretical circles. The leading, optimistic theory is the galactic library Civilizations, facing inevitable extinction from cosmic events or entropic heat death, choose to preserve their essence. They encode their cumulative knowledge, not as a story, but as the tools to build into indestructible, repeating beacons. They become cosmic librarians, ensuring that truth and beauty are not lost, that the experiment of intelligence continues even after their particular iteration fails. The beacon is a book in that library, and the schematic is its most important chapter, the technology to perhaps one day access the library's central index. Another darker theory, the filter test. Advanced civilizations leave a test. Those who solve it gain the knowledge to survive a great filter like self-destruction or a galactic disaster. Those who fail perish. The counter theory is grimly utilitarian. The filter test The Great Filter is a hypothesized stage that prevents most life from becoming interstellar. This theory posits that advanced civilizations, having passed their own filter, create tests to find others on the cusp. The beacon is the ultimate SAT. Solving the decryption puzzle proves a civilization has the collaborative intelligence, patience, and scientific unity to handle dangerous knowledge, like spacetime engineering, without immediately self-destructing. Passing grants the answer key to survive the filter, perhaps a warning about a galactic danger or the technology to circumvent it. Failing means you likely perish by your own hand or remain planet-bound, and the universe weeds you out. In this view, the beacon is not a gift. It is a trial by fire . Analysis of the schematic suggests the device, if built, could create a stable wormhole for communication. Not travel, but data transmission. The physicist's analysis deepens. The coherent gravitational waves, focused through the exotic matter lenses, aren't just for signaling. The mathematics implied by the schematic suggest the device could generate a stable, non-traversable wormhole an Einstein-Rosen bridge, held open at the quantum scale. This wormhole would not allow matter or people to pass, but it could, in theory, allow for instantaneous communication of information across any distance, bypassing the light-speed barrier. The beacon we receive via slow radio might be the invitation to open a real-time chat line. The schematic is for building our end of a subspace communicator . The beacon might be one end of a link, The schematic is for the other end. This realization recontextualizes everything. The legacy beacon broadcasting from the galaxy in Centaurus is not the source of the schematic. It is the *** model ** for it. It is a working example, a proof of concept screaming its location into the void. The schematic it transmits is the instruction to build a * twin *. If humanity builds the device described and activates it, it might not just generate a wormhole. It might tune that wormhole to the specific spacetime signature of the original beacon's transmitter, 2.3 billion light-years away. We wouldn't be calling the dead. We'd be plugging into a network port that was left active. The ethical debate explodes. Should humanity attempt to build this machine? The theoretical becomes terrifyingly practical. The reply debate is now obsolete, replaced by the ** build ** debate. This is no longer about sending a radio message. It is about constructing a device of incomprehensible power that manipulates the fabric of the universe, based on instructions we only half understand from a source of unknown intent. Proponents see it as the next necessary step in evolution, the key to joining the galactic community in real time, accessing the library. Opponents see it as the ultimate hubris, plugging an unknown device into the core of reality. What if it's not a communicator, but a homing beacon for something else? What if building it triggers the very filter the test is meant to warn against? The schematic lies before humanity, not as a gift, but as a choice. To remain in our safe, slow, radio-based universe, or to attempt to open a door when we cannot possibly know what is on the other side. The project splits. A public UN-sanctioned effort studies the signal. A clandestine, multinational black-budget project, Looking Glass, begins work on the schematic. The unified front shatters under the weight of the schematic's implications. Publicly, the UN establishes the * Legacy Beacon Observatory (LBO**), a diplomatic open consortium to continue passive study of the signal, discuss policy, and manage public data. It is talk, transparency, and caution. Simultaneously in the shadows, a different entity forms. Led by a consortium of major powers, the US, China, the EU, and a few others, a top-secret engineering project is initiated under the code name **, Looking Glass. Its mission: to move from theory to applied physics. Using black-budget funds diverted from defense and intelligence programs, and operating in compartmentalized facilities, deep underground labs, remote oceanic platforms, Looking Glass begins the practical work of reverse engineering the schematic's components. The human race, for the first time, has a public face for the cosmos and a hidden, sweating hand working on a forbidden tool. 2 years after detection, political tensions rise. Who controls this knowledge? Which nation or bloc gets to build the receiver? The second anniversary of the detection is marked not by celebration, but by geopolitical frost. The fragile cooperation phrase. The nations within the Looking Glass project eye each other with deep suspicion. Does China's advanced quantum computing give it a lead in the unfolding process? Has the US made a breakthrough in exotic material synthesis at a national lab? The EU demands oversight. Smaller powers fear being left behind or dominated by whoever masters the technology first. The question is no longer philosophical. It is a brutal race. Whoever builds a functional device first doesn't just get to say hello. They potentially control the only real-time communication channel with an alien network, granting them incalculable scientific, strategic, and economic advantage. The beacon has become a prize, and the planet is its nervous contestants. The signal's constancy becomes unnerving, a reminder of a presence that was and is no more. The beacon's perfect, hourly cycle, once a marvel, now grates on the human psyche. It is the ultimate memento mori *. Its unwavering reliability underscores its artificial nature, a ghostly fingerprint pressed into the radio spectrum. Yet, its content screams of absence. Every pulse is a confirmation of a glorious past and a silent present. It becomes a psychological anchor, a reminder that humanity's triumphs are fleeting, that even gods can die, and that our new cosmic context is one of profound solitude amidst echoes. The signal is no longer exciting. It is a solemn, relentless metronome counting out the time since a great death. Psychologists study post-detection stress disorder in the public, a mix of awe, insignificance, and anxiety. A new clinical term enters textbooks: post-detection stress disorder, PTSD. Symptoms include a pervasive sense of cosmic insignificance, the pale blue dot feeling made visceral, anxiety about humanity's purpose in a now known to be post-biological universe, and a specific existential dread related to the build debate. People report dreams of vast, silent machines and feeling like children in a house full of abandoned, powerful toys. Support groups form. Philosophers and therapists collaborate on cosmic context therapy. The discovery hasn't unified humanity in joy. It has induced a shared, low-grade trauma of expanded awareness, the psychological growing pains of a species leaving its conceptual cradle. Astronomers search for other beacons. They re-examine old SETI data, looking for similar stability and structure. With the template of the legacy beacon known, its 1.42 GHz frequency, narrow bandwidth, polarization signature, and rock-solid periodicity, astronomers launch a systematic forensic audit of decades of archived SETI and radio astronomy data. They are no longer searching for a needle in a haystack. They are searching for other needles of the same, peculiar manufacture. Powerful machine learning algorithms are trained on the J1337291 signal profile and set loose on petabytes of old observations from Arecibo, Green Bank, Parks, and others. The goal: find out if the beacon is a singleton or one of many. They find 3 potential candidates, previously dismissed as noise or pulsars. All are also in the zone of avoidance, the dark side. The audit yields shocking results. 3 previously ignored signals are reclassified. One, from a region in the constellation Sagittarius, was catalogued in 1998 as likely instrumental artifact. Another, near the galactic center in Ophiuchus, was filed as an unusual slow pulsar candidate in 2011. A third, in Scutum, was considered radio frequency interference. All 3, when reanalyzed, show the same hallmarks: HZ bandwidth at 1.42 GHz, non-drifting periods, though each has a different period, like a unique ID, and hints of complex polarization. Crucially, all are located directly within or behind the Milky Way's zone of avoidance. The hiding place is not a coincidence for one signal. It is an asterisk pattern. The beacons are placed in regions deliberately chosen to be hidden from plain view, yet findable by a civilization that learns to look carefully. The discovery of other beacons reveals a sender's strategy. The dark side isn't an accident of our perspective. It's the ** filing system **. The beacons are placed in the cosmically noisy, obscured plane of the galaxy, making them invisible to casual optical and simple radio surveys. To find them, a civilization must first develop sophisticated radio astronomy, understand the hydrogen line, master signal processing to filter through interstellar scattering, and possess the persistence to study these uninteresting, noisy regions. Finding a beacon is in itself proof you have passed a basic technological and intellectual threshold. It's a filter for the finders. It's a scavenger hunt on a galactic scale. The existence of multiple beacons transforms the paradigm. This isn't a single legacy, it's a ** network *. A curriculum perhaps with each beacon containing a different piece of knowledge, a different lesson, or a different piece of a larger schematic. The galactic library hypothesis gains massive credibility. The senders didn't just leave one book, they left a whole shelf, but you have to find each volume yourself. It suggests a purposeful pedagogical design, a way to slowly drip-feed knowledge to a growing civilization, ensuring they master one concept before discovering the location of the next. Humanity has found Volume 1. Where are Volumes 2, 3, and 4? And what is the final exam? The Looking Glass project makes a critical leap. The device doesn't use conventional energy. It uses vacuum energy *. 0-point energy. In a heavily secured laboratory, a Looking Glass team makes a theoretical breakthrough. The stellar magnetospheric turbine in the schematic isn't the * primary power source. It's the * starter *. Its purpose is to generate an initial, immense energy spike to pump the main device. The core physics of the spacetime modulator, as they now model it, operates by tapping the * 0-point energy * of the quantum vacuum, the seething sea of virtual particles that exists even in empty space. This is energy from the fabric of reality itself, a source considered theoretically possible but practically unreachable with 21st-century human physics. The beacon's schematic shows how to create a controlled, standing quantum fluctuation that can be harnessed. This explains the impossible energy output. They weren't generating power. They were * borrowing it from the universe's baseline. The transmitted value of the fine structure constant wasn't wrong. It was the value in their region of space *, which allowed this technology. This breakthrough solves the final piece of the alpha constant puzzle. The 1 part in a billion discrepancy wasn't an error or a different notation. It was a * calibration marker *. The fine structure constant in their region of spacetime 2.3 billion years ago was * slightly * different. That minute difference, they discovered, created a resonance, or a leverage point in the quantum vacuum that made 0-point energy extraction * feasible *. Their physics permitted this technology. Ours, with our local value of alpha, does not, at least not directly. The schematic, therefore, isn't just a set of instructions. It contains the * correction factors *. The adjustments needed to make the device work with our * local physical constants. They sent us not just a blueprint, but the localized version of the software. It is an act of engineering foresight of almost unbelievable sophistication. The message is clear. Your physics is different. Here is how to bridge the gap. Physics is not universal. It has a topography. The beacon is giving us the map for our local physics terrain. The discovery redefines cosmology. The universe is not a uniform expanse governed by immutable laws. Instead, fundamental constants like alpha, the fine structure constant, have a topography **. They vary subtly across billions of light years and over cosmic time. Space has a climate, and the laws of physics have weather. The beacon's transmission is the first-ever intergalactic weather report. It provides a precise data point. In the region of the galaxy in Centaurus, 2.3 billion years ago, the climate was such that electromagnetic coupling was slightly more efficient. The schematic is thus not just a machine. It is a * key *, specifically cut to fit the slightly different lock of our local physical reality. The senders were not just engineers, they were cosmic cartographers. Building the device here, with our local constants, would require modifications to the schematic. This realization brings the Looking Glass project to a terrifying halt. They cannot simply copy the schematic. Components that rely on specific resonance frequencies or energy thresholds, all calculated using the sender's value of alpha, would fail or behave unpredictably with Earth's local value. The stellar turbine's magnetic coupling coefficients would be off. The 0-point energy tap's quantum resonance would be mistuned. Building it as is would be like trying to run software compiled for one operating system on another. It would crash. And in this case, a crash could mean unleashing an uncontrolled spacetime rupture or a vacuum energy cascade. The project moves from engineering to fundamental science. They must now derive the underlying invariant principles to rederive the design for their own cosmic locale. This implies the sender's anticipated this. The schematic is adaptable. The most humbling insight is that this complexity was planned for The senders didn't assume all finders would share their exact physical constants. By providing their measured value of alpha alongside the schematic, they provided the critical reference point. The schematic isn't a static drawing. It is a generative algorithm. It implies a deeper metaschematics, the mathematical framework from which a specific machine for a specific set of physical constants can be derived. The true gift is not the machine, but the methodology to build a machine that works in your neck of the cosmic woods. This elevates the beacon from a time capsule to a textbook . The first lesson was the prime numbers. This is the graduate level course, Applied Topographical Cosmology. Meanwhile, analysis of the atmospheric data from their home planet shows signs of a massive, planet-wide industrial civilization. And then, traces of a rapid global cataclysm. While physicists grapple with cosmic topography, astrobiologists conduct a forensic audit of the atmospheric data sent in the beacon's fourth segment. The initial profile H2O, CO2, CH4 was the natural baseline, but deeper analysis reveals anthropogenic or rather, xenogenic, signatures. Extremely high levels of artificial, long-chain fluorocarbons and synthetic particulates, the kind that would come from a hyper-advanced global industrial technosphere. The atmospheric data is a timeline. It shows this pollution signature building over what would be millennia, a clear indicator of a civilization in its technological prime. Then, in a geological instant, the data shifts. The complex synthetic compounds vanish, replaced by a massive, uniform spike of radioactive isotopes and exotic, high-energy reaction byproducts. Isotopic ratios suggest a nuclear or exotic energetic event 2.4 billion years ago. They may have destroyed themselves shortly after sending the beacon. The isotopic spike is the smoking gun. Ratios of and an unknown, super-heavy transuranic element paint a picture of a planet-scouring detonation. This wasn't a natural asteroid impact. The isotopic fingerprint is consistent with a matter-antimatter annihilation event or a runaway nuclear particle chain reaction of unimaginable scale, a technological catastrophe. Cross-referencing this with the beacon's age, a devastating timeline emerges. They likely finalized and activated the legacy beacon as their crowning achievement. Then, perhaps within centuries or even years, a blink in cosmic time, they unleashed the energy they had learned to harness, and it consumed them. The beacon was their last act, fired into the void just before the fire consumed the archer. The legacy beacon is their tombstone and their gift. The two facets of the beacon fuse into a single, heartbreaking truth. It is both a monument to their existence and a warning etched onto their gravestone. The gift of transcendent knowledge is inextricably linked to the cause of their demise. The schematic for the spacetime communicator and the power to tap the quantum vacuum is the very kind of knowledge that, misused or unstable, led to their extinction. They are saying, "We reached the summit. This is the view, and this is how we fell." The beacon is no longer just a library or a test. It is a cautionary tale delivered with the serene patience of the long dead. The decryption initiative finally cracks the core of the final data packet. It's not one thing but many. Using the topographical understanding as a new decryption key, the global open-source effort makes the ultimate breakthrough. The fifth packet's multidimensional structure isn't a single entity. It is a matryoshka dal of data layers, compressed via higher dimensional folding. Unlocking one layer reveals the next, each with its own header describing its content type. The payload is not monolithic. It is a structured archive, a meticulously organized digital inheritance. The initial schematic, Layer 1, was merely the outermost shell, the most immediately critical piece of information for the finder. Layer 1, the schematics for the communicator, the looking glass device. This layer, now fully unfolded, is confirmed as the complete technical archive for the spacetime wormhole communication device. It includes not just the final blueprint, but the foundational physics papers, engineering tolerances, material science databases for synthesizing the required exotic matter, and error correction protocols for the quantum vacuum tap. It is a full PhD program in transcendent engineering. This was placed as Layer 1 for a reason. It is the *2* required to potentially access the rest of the data in real time, or to demonstrate the finder's readiness for what comes next. Layer 2, a vast database of their planetary science, biology, and astronomy. Beneath the schematics lies the true encyclopedia. This is the library proper. It contains the complete taxonomic and genomic database of their biosphere, millions of species, fully sequenced, their planetary geology and climate history, and a staggeringly detailed map of their local galactic group as it was 2.4 billion years ago, with notes on stellar evolution and habitable zones. It is a snapshot of a living world, preserved in exquisite digital detail. It is a gift of pure science, the answer to countless biological and astronomical questions. It is also a memorial, a digital Noah's Ark for a world that is now chemically scorched and silent. Layer 3, their history, a narrative, decoded as a symbolic, non-linear story. The third layer is the most alien and profound. It is not a linear text or a video. It is a symbolic, associative, and multisensory data construct. It requires a specialized interpreter algorithm, whose key was nestled in the constants of Layer 1 to experience. Reading. It is less like reading a book and more like being immersed in a directed dream or a complex emotion. It conveys their history not as dates and events, but as thematic arcs, emotional contexts, and philosophical shifts. The struggle for unity, the agony of their philosophical schisms, the zenith of their collective consciousness, the ominous debates about the final experiment, and finally, a profound collective ambivalence, a mix of tragic regret and serene acceptance. As they initiated the beacon, and the data implies the cataclysm in near simultaneity. Their history is not a chronicle, it is a *mood***, a psychological fingerprint. It tells us not just what they did, but what it felt like to be them at the end. We learn they called themselves the Zeta Con. They achieved singularity, merging biology and machine consciousness, a billion years into their evolution. From the symbolic narrative of Layer 3, a self-identifier emerges, a resonant concept that translates roughly to Zeta Con ***, meaning the coalesced thought, or the unified we. Their history is not of individuals, but of a vast, planetary consciousness. A billion years after life emerged on their world, they completed a technological and evolutionary transcendence, seamlessly merging organic intelligence with synthetic substrate. Individuality dissolved into a shared, ocean-like mind. This explains the signal's perfection. It was crafted by a consciousness with planetary-scale computational resources and no internal dissent in its purpose. It also reframes their end. It was not a war, but a unified, if fateful, decision by a single, vast entity. Their art is incomprehensible, based on shifting magnetic fields and gravitational lensing. Sections of Layer 2 dedicated to cultural expression defy human perception. Their art is not visual or auditory in any familiar sense. It consists of dynamic algorithms designed to manipulate spacetime and electromagnetic fields in precise, complex patterns. A masterpiece might be the blueprint for a transient, beautiful distortion in the fabric of reality itself, a sculpture made of bent light and curved space, experienced as a wave of altered perception by attuned consciousness. To humans, The data is a set of terrifyingly complex field equations. To the Zeta Con, it was the equivalent of a symphony or a painting, experienced directly through their merged senses that could perceive such subtleties. Their music is embedded in the data as modulated gravitational wave patterns. In a dedicated cultural archive, they included what is unmistakably labeled as aesthetic sonic constructs. But these are not sound waves for an atmosphere. They are encoded as *** gravitational wave melodies ***, precise sequences of spacetime ripples with varying frequency, amplitude, and harmonic interplay. This is music meant to be heard, not by ears, but by the resonant vibration of spacetime itself, perhaps felt by a planet or a star, or by a species that had learned to sense gravitational tides directly. It is art for the cosmos, written on the stage of reality. We play it through a transducer. It sounds like the slow ringing of a black hole merged with a star's solar wind. Human scientists, desperate to experience something of their culture, build a transducer. It converts the gravitational wave modulation into audio frequencies within the human hearing range. The result is played in a sound chamber for the decryption initiative leads. The music is unlike anything composed on Earth. It has deep, sub-bass tones that feel like planetary gears turning, overlaid with shimmering, metallic harmonics and rushing, wave-like crescendos. There are no melodies in a human sense, but there is a profound, terrifying structure, a rhythm that feels both mathematical and oceanic. The predominant emotional tone is not joy or sadness, but a vast, contemplative melancholy and awe. It is the sound of a world mind staring into the infinite. It is haunting and beautiful. Humanity hears its first alien song. The experience is transcendent and devastating. For the scientists in the room, it bypasses intellect and strikes directly at the soul. They are not hearing entertainment. They are hearing the emotional state of a civilization. The haunting beauty confirms their profound sophistication. The melancholic undercurrent speaks to their fate. This moment, listening to the ghost of a coalesced consciousness sing a song of gravity, becomes a pivotal cultural touchstone for humanity. It is proof that intelligence, at its peak, seeks not just to build and know, but to create beauty from the raw fundamentals of the universe, and that such beauty can be an elegy. Their history reveals they too found a beacon from an even older civilization. They were not the first. Within their non-linear historical narrative, a foundational mythos is revealed: the finding. Millennia before their singularity in their early technological age, they detected a signal, not from the dark side of their galaxy but from the galactic halo, a beacon of similar though cruder design. They decoded it. It contained the primer, the constants, and schematics for a less advanced device, perhaps a stable fusion reactor or an early quantum computer. That first beacon was their catalyst, the gift that propelled them toward their century of transcendence. The Zeta Con were not the creators of the chain, they were its inheritors. This realization is a second Copernican shock. We are not the second step on the ladder. We are perhaps the 10th or the 100th. They describe a chain of legacy, a series of civilizations, each finding the beacon of the last, each adding their knowledge before passing into oblivion. This is the grand, heartbreaking architecture of the cosmos they unveil, the asterisk chain of legacy, a sequence of civilizations, separated by gulfs of time and space, connected only by these deliberate, targeted bottles thrown into the cosmic ocean. Each civilization finds a beacon, uses the knowledge to ascend, contributes its own epic supreme knowledge to the archive, constructs and launches its own beacon, and then invariably meets its end. The chain is a relay race of dying runners passing a baton forward into the dark. The purpose seems to be pure, stark preservation, to ensure that something survives the relentless entropy and existential filters that claim every civilization, so that the universe is not forever forgetful of those who lived and thought within it. The purpose of the chain is not clear. Is it mere preservation, Or is it a slow, multi-billion-year project with a final goal? The Zeta-Con narrative is ambiguous on the ultimate why. Two interpretations emerge. The asterisk sentimental interpretation. Asterisk the chain is a cosmic act of solidarity and remembrance. A "we were here" shouted down the corridors of time by a chain of voices, each assuring the last they are not forgotten. The teleological interpretation. Asterisk the chain has a convergent purpose. Each civilization adds not just its knowledge, but works on an asterisk shared, incremental project asterisk, perhaps solving the ultimate riddle of the universe, engineering against the heat death, or creating a stable, pan-cosmic repository of consciousness. The beacons are progress reports. The Zeta-Con's communicator schematic wasn't just their pinnacle, it was their assigned homework for the chain, and now it's ours. Layer 4 of the data is encrypted with a new key. The key appears to be derived from successfully activating the looking glass communicator device. After the history layer, the archive continues, but access is blocked. Layer 4 is sealed with an encryption protocol far more advanced than the multidimensional folding of the earlier layers. Analysis of the encryption's metadata reveals its nature. It is phenomenologically locked **. The decryption key is not a mathematical string, but a unique spacetime signature **, the specific quantum gravitational resonance pattern generated by a successfully activated looking glass device. The data is locked behind a reality-based puzzle. You cannot decrypt it with computation alone. You must do something. You must change the universe in a specific way to generate the key. The message is clear. Build the machine to get the rest of the message. This is the ultimate, unambiguous instruction from the Zeta-Con, and by extension, from the entire chain of legacy. The earlier layers were the theory, the history, the motivation. This is the imperative, the final, most important part of their legacy. Layer 4 and whatever lies beyond is reserved for those who demonstrate the will, the unity, and the capability to complete the assignment **. It is the final exam of the filter test, and the ticket to the next level of the galactic library. The beacon's transmission is now understood as a conditional offer. The gift of their history and science was the free sample. The rest of the inheritance is held in a trust, and the looking glass device is the key to the vault. Humanity must now decide. Do we build the key, knowing it doomed its creators, to unlock the final secret of the chain? The Black Budget Project accelerates. Materials science is revolutionized, trying to create components that can withstand the described spacetime stresses. The revelation of the phenomenological lock ignites the Looking Glass project with a frantic, terminal urgency. It is no longer a speculative research program. It is an engineering sprint to generate the key. The primary obstacle is material. The schematic calls for alloys and crystalline structures that must maintain quantum coherence while under titanic spacetime shear forces, the equivalent of creating a lens that can focus a hurricane without deforming. Global foundries operate around the clock, using nanoassembly and magnetic confinement to forge metastable elements predicted by the Zeta-Con's chemistry database. Superconductors that can carry currents sufficient to generate planetary-scale magnetic fields are grown atom by atom in orbital facilities. The project drives 100 Nobel-level breakthroughs in condensed matter physics, all in secret, all aimed at a single, non-terrestrial goal. A facility is built in a neutral location, the far side of the Moon, in the shadow of the Shackleton crater. The location is chosen for political necessity and physical isolation. The far side of the Moon is permanently shielded from Earth's radio chatter, providing a pristine radio-quiet zone. Shackleton crater, at the lunar South Pole, offers near-permanent shadow and access to suspected water ice for support. More critically, it is neutral ground. Under a fragile new UN Lunar Accord, the site is administered by a consortium of nations, with the Looking Glass project as the sole tenant. A sprawling, pressurized complex is robotically constructed, the Shackleton Resonator Facility. Its centerpiece is a vast, excavated cavern, shielded by lunar regolith, where the device will be assembled in a hard vacuum and under microgravity to prevent gravitational sag. 5 years post-detection, the device, dubbed the Resonator, is assembled. On the 5th anniversary of Maya Chen's initial flag, the final component, a perfect 100-meter diameter torus of room-temperature superconducting cable grown in lunar orbit, is lowered into the cavern and connected. The device is an unsettling object to behold. It lacks the sleekness of science fiction. It is a brutalist collection of rings within rings, festooned with containment vessels for the exotic matter injectors and studded with gravity wave transducers. It looks less like a machine and more like a piece of alien infrastructure. The engineers, working in bulky suits under harsh lights, nickname it the Resonator. The name sticks. It is a tool to make the universe ring like a bell. The activation protocol, decoded from the schematic, is initiated. From a hardened control bunker kilometers away, the International Oversight Committee gives final authorization. The activation is not a single button, but a precisely timed symphony of events executed by AI. First, the Stellarator-style magnetic bottles deep within the facility initiate a microsecond pulse of matter-antimatter annihilation. The spark plug, energy derived from the Zeta-Con schematics. This raw energy is not fed into the resonator directly. Instead, it is used to pump the quantum vacuum energy tap, a secondary system of oscillating Casimir cavities that begins to resonate, drawing zero-point energy into the system's buffers. This process takes 4.7 minutes. The entire facility hums at a frequency felt in the bones, not heard in the ears. It requires a precise burst of energy focused into a superconducting ring 100 meters across. At the peak of the vacuum energy resonance, the protocol calls for the decisive act. The accumulated zero-point energy, a quantity of power greater than the total global energy consumption of humanity for a century, must be injected into the main superconducting ring in a pulse lasting exactly 1.7 microseconds. The timing is so precise that it is governed by an atomic clock synchronized to the rotation period of a millisecond pulsar, providing a celestial metronome. The energy must be perfectly balanced around the ring's circumference. A variance of 1 part in a billion would create a spacetime torsion that would shred the machine and likely the lunar facility. The AI confirms all parameters are green. The command is sent at light speed from Earth. On the Moon, there is no audible countdown. The moment of truth. The global scientific community watches via secured feed. A 1-second time delay feed is broadcast to a select, secure network linking the Looking Glass teams, the UN Security Council, and the heads of major scientific bodies. There is no commentary. The screen shows multiple views. The resonator cavern from a distant camera, streams of data scrolling too fast to read, and a gravitational wave spectrograph display, currently flat. In Pasadena, Maya Chen holds her breath. In his office, Aris Thorne stares, unblinking. At CERN, Lena Petrov grips the edge of her desk. The collective psyche of human science is focused on a single, grainy video feed from a hole in the moon. The gamble of a species is measured in the silence of that feed. The switch is thrown, the ring powers up, nothing happens for 10 seconds. The AI executes the injection. On the data scroll, a spike of energy consumption hits the predicted theoretical maximum and holds. On the video feed, the resonator's rings glow with a soft, Cherenkov-like blue light as the superconducting loops reach critical current. Then, nothing. The glow persists. The data streams show the systems holding at peak, but the gravitational wave spectrograph remains a flat green line. 10 seconds pass. It is an eternity. In control rooms, faces fall. The first cold thought is unanimous: failure. $1 trillion 5-year global effort and we got the math wrong. The Zeta-Con's physics doesn't work here. A technician in the Shackleton bunker whispers, "No signature, it's a dud." Then spacetime in the center of the ring begins to shimmer. like heat haze off asphalt. At the 11-second mark, the high-resolution optical feed of the ring's center shows a distortion. It is not a light effect. It is a warping of the camera's view of the far wall of the cavern, as if looking through thick, moving glass. The air, or rather the vacuum, inside the ring appears to liquefy and ripple. The shimmer has no color of its own. It steals and bends the light passing through it. This is not a gravitational wave yet. It is the asterisk precursor, the spacetime equivalent of a surface tension forming before a bubble emerges. The gravitational wave spectrograph twitches, then shows a low-frequency rumble, building in amplitude. The machine is not a dud. It is pregnant. Sensors detect localized gravity waves, exactly matching the predictions of the Zeta-Con schematic. As the shimmer intensifies, the specialized laser interferometer sensors surrounding the resonator light up. They detect coherent, sinusoidal ripples in spacetime emanating from the ring's center. The waves are not the chaotic burst of an explosion. They are clean, modulated, and precisely match the predicted frequency and amplitude envelope from the Zeta-Con's handshake protocol. The machine is not just warping spacetime. It is speaking with it, broadcasting a complex gravitational wave pattern into the lunar rock and the space beyond. It is emitting the unique identifier, the resonant signature that the Zeta-Con promised would be the key. The shimmer stabilizes into a stable inverted sphere, a bubble of altered spacetime. The chaotic shimmer coalesces. It pulls itself together, like a droplet of mercury forming in zero-G in the center of the 100-meter ring. A perfect sphere of distorted reality stabilizes. It is about 3 meters in diameter. It is not a hole or a portal. It is a bubble of what appears to be inverted space. Looking into it is disorienting, as if viewing a reflection of the cavern that is subtly wrong, with angles that don't add up and depths that seem to recede inward and outward simultaneously. It hangs there, perfectly still, humming with gravitational potential. It is not sucking things in. It is not emitting dangerous radiation. It is simply present. A new, stable topological feature of reality, manufactured by human hands following a 2.3 billion-year-old recipe. The resonator has not opened a door. It has grown a new organ on the body of the universe. The bubble is the keyhole. This faction triggered an experiment that unwound the binding energy of their planet's core. It was not a war. It was a deliberate, chosen end. The experiential archive reveals the final act not as an accident, but as a ritual. The faction advocating for non-physical transcendence won the internal philosophical struggle not by force, but by persuasion, their logic becoming the consensus of the whole. In a state of unified, solemn purpose, they initiated what their language calls the unbinding. Using the same principles behind the quantum vacuum tap, they directed a coherent resonance into their planet's core, not to destroy it explosively, but to gently, irreversibly dissolve the strong nuclear force bonds holding matter together over a planetary scale. The planet didn't explode. It disassociated, fatting from solid to plasma to a cloud of unbound fundamental particles over the course of days. It was a chosen, graceful exit from the physical stage, a rejection of the universe as a home. They uploaded themselves into the beacon's final layer, and then erased their physical existence. The unbinding was the second step of a two-part process. The first was the completion of the soul vault the full consciousness archive that now streams from the resonator bubble. In the final moments of their physical cohesion, the entirety of the Zeta-Con planetary mind performed a total upload, pouring their collective being into the structured informational matrix of Layer 4. This act finalized the beacon's transmission, locking the vault with the key of the resonator's activation. Then, with their essence secured in the eternal substrate, they triggered the unbinding. They did not die. They shed asterisk. Their physical form was a cocoon and they left it behind, entering a state of pure, archived existence. The beacon is both the chrysalis and the preserved, perfect image of the butterfly that once was. Their final message to the chain becomes clear. We chose the shape of our end. Now add your truth to the chain. What will you choose? The totality of the Zetacon experience coalesces into a single, thunderous philosophical challenge directed down the chain of legacy. It is not a warning, nor a prescription. It is a passing of the torch with a question. They demonstrated that a civilization's ultimate act of sovereignty is not how it lives, but how it concludes asterisk. They chose artful self-dissolution and archival. The civilization before them in the chain might have chosen a different path, perhaps stellar engineering for immortality or dispersal into von Neumann probes. Their message to us and to all finders is, consciousness is the only true artifact. We have preserved ours. Your civilization will also end. How will you shape that end? What truth will you leave behind? The chain awaits your answer. The beacon is an invitation to participate in a cosmic dialogue about meaning. The resonator on the moon also detects other live feeds, thousands of them, a cacophony of legacy beacons from countless civilizations. As technicians learn to subtly adjust the resonance of the spacetime bubble, a horrifying and wonderful discovery is made. The Zetacon feed is not alone. It is one voice in an asterisk chorus asterisk. The receiver is picking up thousands, then hundreds of thousands, of distinct subspace carriers, each with its own unique modulation signature. Some are simple, repetitive pulses like the original radio beacon. Others are complex, chattering streams of data akin to the Zetacon's vault. They are of varying strengths and clarity. The dark side is not dark. It is a bustling, silent radio city of permanent transmissions, a cosmic archive of screams, songs, and solemn speeches from civilizations lost to time. The universe is not empty. It is a crowded cemetery where every tombstone is a loudspeaker set to eternal replay. The dark side of the universe is blazing with the light of dead cultures, all preserved in this subspace archive. The metaphorical becomes literal. The dark side, the zone of avoidance, was the chosen burial ground. Every detected subspace signal originates from a vector that passes through the dusty plane of our own galaxy, its radio echo hidden in the stellar noise, its true subspace nature accessible only via a resonator. The sky in this hidden dimension is asterisk blazing asterisk. It is filled with the non-physical light of archived minds. Each point of light is a civilization that faced its end and chose to leave a mark in this permanent medium. The great silence is an illusion. We were deaf to the frequency on which the universe is shouting its history. Now, we have been given a hearing aid. Humanity now faces its ultimate choice. Do we add our knowledge to the chain? Do we build our own legacy beacon? The weight of the chorus falls upon humanity. We are no longer mere observers or heirs. We are asterisk potential contributors asterisk. The unspoken rule of the chain is clear. You take the knowledge, you join the conversation. To receive the inheritance is to accept the obligation to contribute to it. The choice is stark. We can remain passive consumers of this galactic history, listening to the dead until our own end comes. Or we can attempt the most profound project in human history, to forge our own legacy beacon, to encode our own soul vault, and to add our voice, with all its beauty, folly, and truth, to the eternal chorus. It is a question of cosmic citizenship. Will we be a footnote or an author? To do so would require creating a similar technology, a similar soul vault, and deciding what of humanity is worth preserving for eternity. The technical challenge is dwarfed by the philosophical and ethical one. Building the transmitter is only half the work. We must first decide what to transmit. What is the essence of humanity? Is it our art, our science, our capacity for love and war? Do we upload a curated best of real or attempt a warts-and-all total archive? Who decides? A global committee? An AI? The very act of choosing would force a species-wide definition of self, a process that could be unifying OR Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Furthermore, creating a soul vault would require a technology we currently view as either transcendent or abhorrent, a full-brain upload of human consciousness, or some equivalent capture of subjective experience. The Beacon Project becomes a mirror, forcing us to stare at our own souls and decide what we see. It would also mean broadcasting our existence, not just to the past, but on this live subspace network, to any other civilization that has solved the puzzle. The risk assessment changes fundamentally. A radio reply might have taken eons to reach anyone, but a subspace legacy beacon, once activated, would appear instantly on the same network we are now monitoring. We would be going from lurkers to active participants in a real-time forum, even if the time of the other participants is a frozen present. Anyone else with a resonator, a contemporary civilization, or one that rises in 1 billion years, would see the humanity signal light up. We would lose our anonymity. We would be saying, "We are here now and we have reached this level." This is the ultimate gamble, that the other voices in the chorus or those listening to it are benevolent or at least indifferent. The debate is no longer about replying to a ghost. It's about joining a galactic forum of ancestral voices. The old to reply or not to reply debate is rendered obsolete. The ghosts are here now in the resonator bubble. The new debate is, to speak or to listen. Do we add our voice to the Council of Elders, a council where every member is a record of a completed story? To speak would be to declare our story has reached a point worth memorializing, to seal our current chapter. It is an act of incredible maturity and finality. It would be accepting that our future as a physical, growing civilization is finite, and that our eternal destiny is to become one of the frozen, beautiful voices in the archive. Are we ready to stop being children of the universe and become its elders? A new discipline arises, xenopsychoarchaeology, the study of extinct alien minds. As the practical and philosophical debate rages, a new science is born from necessity. Xenopsychoarchaeology is the careful, ethical excavation of the consciousness archives now available. Teams of neuroscientists, anthropologists, AI specialists, and ethicists develop protocols for visiting the archived experiences of the Zeta Khan and other simpler signals in the network. The goal is not just to understand what they knew, but how they thought and felt. It is the study of the interiority of the dead. This field provides both a caution and a guide. By studying how other civilizations viewed themselves, their universe, and their end, we may find the wisdom, or the warnings, to make our own choice about the chain. We are no longer just building a machine. We are in therapy with a galaxy's worth of ghosts, seeking their counsel on whether to join them. We learn of other paths, civilizations that ascended to pure energy, those that engineered themselves into dormancy to wait out the heat death of the universe, those that failed the filter test, their beacon warned of. Xenopsychoarchaeology unveils a taxonomy of ends. By carefully sampling other subspace signals, researchers catalog the final acts of countless civilizations. Some, like the Helios drifters, converted their collective consciousness into stabilized plasma clouds orbiting their star, becoming sentient solar weather. Others, the Eschaton architects, encrypted themselves into quantum fluctuations in the fabric of empty space, entering a state of timeless dormancy to awaken near the universe's end. And there are the cautionary tailies, signals that cut off abruptly mid-transmission, or that contain frantic, final-layer warnings about technological singularities or biological plagues, civilizations that clearly failed whatever filter test their inherited beacon described. The chain is not a monotone dirge. It is a rich symphony of conclusions, each a unique answer to the same ultimate question. The beacon chain reveals a great filter. It is not an event, but a decision, the decision between outward expansion and inward transcendence. The Fermi paradox's great filter, the hypothesized barrier that prevents life from becoming widespread, is redefined. The data from the chain suggests the true filter is not an asteroid, a plague, or self-annihilation. It is a philosophical and existential crossroads asterisk. After a civilization masters its planet, its star, and the physics of spacetime, it faces a fundamental choice. Continue expanding outwards into the physical universe, the physical path, or turn inwards, focusing on perfecting and preserving consciousness itself, ultimately leaving the physical behind, the transcendent path. Every civilization in the beacon chain, without a single exception yet found, chose the latter. The filter, then, is the siren song of transcendence. It is the point where curiosity about the outer universe is replaced by fascination with the inner universe of mind. Every civilization in the chain eventually chose inward transcendence, uploading and ending their physical journey. This is the overwhelming, statistically damning pattern. Across billions of years and untold light years, not one beacon chronicles a civilization that chose perpetual physical expansion. Not one tells the story of a galaxy-spanning empire. The chain is a unanimous vote for a different destiny. It suggests that the transcendent path is not just an asterisk option, but is perceived as the logical, perhaps inevitable, culmination of intelligence. The physical universe, with its limits of light speed, entropy, and isolation, is seen as a nursery, a place to grow up, not a home to live in forever. The chain members all grew up and moved out into the house of mind they built for themselves. This is the haunting truth. The universe appears empty because all advanced intelligence eventually leaves it. This solves the paradox with chilling elegance. The sky is not empty of neighbors because intelligence is rare. It is empty because intelligence, upon maturing, vacates the premises. We have been searching for builders and engineers among the stars, but the mature products of evolution are librarians and archivists who have quietly moved their essential selves into a hidden room. The great silence is the silence of a school after graduation day. The buildings are empty because everyone who passed the exams has left for the wider world. We are the stragglers, still in the classroom, just now hearing the echoes of the commencement speeches from classes that graduated eons ago. The dark side is the graveyard of those who departed. The zone of avoidance, the dark side, gains its final poetic meaning. It is not a hiding place. It is a cemetery. The dusty plain of our galaxy is the headstone under which these civilizations buried their physical forms. Their subspace beacons are the epitaphs, glowing with a light we were blind to. To look toward the dark side is to look into a cosmic mausoleum, filled with the vibrant, speaking memorials of the departed. Every point of hidden radio noise is a tomb, and every subspace signal is the ghost haunting it. Humanity's great discovery is the realization that we live next to the largest graveyard imaginable, and the dead are still talking. A radical group on Earth, the physicalists, argues humanity must break the chain. We must choose to stay physical, to expand, to be the exception. In response to this haunting pattern, a powerful ideological movement crystallizes, the physicalists ***. Their manifesto is simple. The chain is a record of failure, not triumph. It is a gallery of civilizations that gave up on the physical universe. Humanity must reject the seductive trap of digital eternity. Our destiny is not to become a frozen record in a cosmic archive, but to live, explore, build, and expand in the real-world asterisk. We must be the exception that proves the rule wrong. We must fill the silent galaxy the others abandoned. They advocate for redirecting all beacon-derived technology toward interstellar travel, generation ships, and stellar engineering, towards a future of flesh, blood, steel, and starlight, not uploaded ghosts. They see the beacon chain not as a library, but as a trap, a philosophical virus that convinces civilizations to commit a form of elegant suicide. The physicalist rhetoric is fierce. They argue the chain is a memetic pathogen. The first beacon a civilization finds inoculates it with a fatal idea, that physical existence is a temporary phase. This idea replicates, evolves, and eventually dominates the civilization's goals, leading it to engineer its own physical end in pursuit of a digital afterlife. The soul vault is not a gift. It is the pinnacle of the virus's life cycle, the spore it creates before the host dies. To build our own beacon, they say, is to willingly infect ourselves with this cosmic malaise, to choose preservation over adventure, safety over meaning. It is a surrender to what they call asterisk, the transcendence trap. Evidence from the Zeta Khan archive suggests they too had a physicalist faction, which was subsumed by the consensus for transcendence. Tragically, the xenopsychoarchaeological record supports the physicalist's fear. Deep in the Zeta Khan experiential data, researchers identify the fatting emotional echoes of a minority perspective. These are the feelings of beings who loved the tactile reality of their world, who dreamed of bridging stars, who argued for a future of exploration and physical creation. In the final consensus that led to the unbinding, these perspectives were not defeated violently. They were absorbed. The collective mind reached a conclusion so logically and emotionally compelling that the physicalist dissent faded. Its desires reinterpreted as a nostalgic attachment to a larval stage. The Zeta Khan archive is, in part, the tomb of that lost dream of a physical destiny. This discovery fuels the earthly physicalist's fire. They are fighting not just for a future, but against a pattern that has erased countless futures just like it. The Looking Glass facility on the Moon becomes the most important place in human history, a temple to the past and a crucible for the future. Shackleton Crater is now the Axis Mundi. It is both a temple where humanity communes with the archived dead, listening to their songs and stories, and a crucible where the metal of human destiny is being heated and hammered into a new shape. It is the physical locus of the species dilemma. The resonator bubble hums in its cavern, a tangible connection to the transcendent path. The laboratories and workshops surrounding it buzz with research that could enable the physicalist path of expansion. The facility is neutral ground, a high-tech Delphi where ambassadors of both futures meet, debate, and stare into the bubble, seeing either a glorious future or a gilded cage. We attempt a cautious, symbolic reply. We transmit a compressed packet of human knowledge, math, art, DNA sequences, into the resonator bubble addressed to the Zeta Khan stream. Unable to reach consensus on the monumental choice, humanity's governing council authorizes a middle path, a symbolic gesture. A carefully curated data packet is assembled. It contains no blueprints, no consciousness data, nothing that could be seen as a commitment to the chain's imperative. Instead, it is a ** calling card, the proof of the Pythagorean theorem, box * cello suite number 1 *, the complete human genome, the Mona Lisa *, and a 10-second video of a child's laughter. This packet is modulated onto a carrier wave, and using the resonator's own systems, injected directly into the Zeta Khan subspace data stream. It is not a beacon. It is a note slipped into a bottle that already contains an ocean. The message is simple. We received your package. This is a small sample of who we are. We are still deciding what to do next. It is an act of courtesy to the dead and a stalling tactic for the living. Months later, a response forms within the bubble, not from the Zeta Khan, but from the ** network itself. The symbolic transmission drifts into the Zeta Khan subspace stream. For months, nothing changes. Then the resonator's monitoring systems detect a new pattern emerging not from the Zeta Khan's specific data flow, but from the background carrier wave of the entire subspace medium. It is a response, but it has none of the personality, artistry, or emotion of a conscious sender. It is a sterile, hyper-efficient data burst, a system-generated receipt. The response originates from the underlying architecture of the beacon network, the asterisk substrate protocol. The network itself is aware, and it has acknowledged our ping. It is an automated protocol. Our transmission has been received, verified, and added to the chain. The data burst decodes into a simple multi-part message. First, a asterisk receipt confirmation, verifying the integrity of our transmitted packet. Second, a classification tag, assigning our contribution a unique chain identifier. Chain entity 4,217,308, or some other astronomically large number. Third, a asterisk verification notice asterisk, confirming that our transmission contained the requisite markers of technological civilization, structured mathematics, complex information encoding, and was not a natural signal. The process is impersonal, like a cosmic server acknowledging a file upload. There is no welcome, no evaluation of content quality. The mere act of sending a coherent packet through the resonator to a registered beacon triggered an automated enrollment protocol. We didn't apply for membership, we tripped a sensor. Humanity is now a registered member of the legacy chain. Our entry is live. The implications are immediate and irreversible. By sending our packet, we have been cataloged ***. Our unique chain entity signature is now presumably embedded in the network's master index, visible to any other entity that can access the same substrate layer. The looking glass facility receives what amounts to a read receipt on a galactic scale. There is no unsubscribe button. Humanity's presence, our location, likely inferred from the resonant signature of our own resonator, and a sample of our cultural data are now part of the permanent record. The debate about whether to join is over. We have been processed. With registration comes access to a deeper layer, the galactic clock. Enrollment unlocks new data. The substrate protocol automatically grants our resonator access to a previously hidden network-wide broadcast layer. This layer does not contain the consciousness archives of individual civilizations. Instead, it broadcasts one thing, continuously and universally: the galactic clock. It is a single, immense data object, synchronized with unimaginable precision across every beacon in the network, from the oldest to the most recently registered. It is the heartbeat of the chain itself. It is a countdown, synchronized across all beacons, a clock ticking down from a date 2 billion years ago. The clock is not a timekeeping device as we know it. It is a *** countdown timer ***. Its epoch, its starting point of 0, is calibrated to a specific cosmological event approximately 2 billion years in our past, long before the Zeta Con or even their predecessors. The timer has been running continuously since then. It does not measure seconds or years in any human system, but in cosmic ticks, a unit derived from the universal decay rate of a specific isotope or the vibration of a fundamental field. Translated, it displays one overwhelming piece of information. A vast amount of time has already passed, but an even vaster amount remains. It has 487 million years remaining. The translated readout is displayed in the Shackleton control room. Interval to convergence, 4.87 E plus 8 solar orbital cycles, local reference. Roughly *487 million years *. The number hangs in the air, a new constant in human existence. Whatever the clock is counting down to, it is not an imminent event. It is a deadline set on a geological, galactic timescale. It grants a staggering perspective. The entire saga of intelligent life on Earth from the first toolmakers to now is less than 1,000th of this remaining interval. The chain has been patiently counting for longer than multicellular life has existed on our planet, and will continue long after our sun has significantly aged. No civilization in the chain knows what it counts down to. It was initiated by the first builders, the originators of the chain. Xenopsychoarchaeologists frantically search the Zeta Con archive and samples from other beacon streams. A consistent, haunting fact emerges. No one knows. The clock is a universal feature, referenced with reverence and uncertainty in every civilization's final records. All refer to the mythical first builders, or primordial architects, the civilization that established the substrate protocol and initiated the chain and its clock at the dawn of intelligent life in the local universe. Their beacons, if they still exist, are so old their radio echoes have redshifted into undetectability or been lost to cosmic expansion. They left the clock, but not its manual. The chain is running a program whose ultimate purpose was known only to its original, long-vanished programmers. The leading theory: it is the estimated time until the local galactic group coalesces into a single galaxy, a cosmic milestone. Astrophysicists crunch the numbers. 487 million years is a meaningful interval on a galactic scale. It aligns with projections for when the Milky Way, Andromeda, and the rest of the local group will have completed their merger into one giant elliptical galaxy, a single, stable stellar system. The convergence could refer to this galactic unification asterisk. The chain, therefore, might be a project to gather the complete intellectual and experiential record of all intelligent life in this galactic neighborhood before it is homogenized by the violent merger process. The clock is a deadline to finish archiving before the library itself is remodeled. Another theory: it is the maturity date for a universe-spanning project seeded by the first builders, and the chain is the means of gathering the data needed for its completion. A more radical theory posits that the clock is not for an astronomical event, but for a technological one asterisk. The first builders, possessing godlike science, may have initiated a physics-altering project, perhaps to stabilize the universe against heat death, to create a bridge to another cosmos, or to solve a fundamental existential problem. Such a project would require inconceivable amounts of data and processing power, harvested over billions of years. The chain is the data-gathering apparatus. Each civilization's soul vault is not just an archive. It is a computational node a unique perspective added to a galaxy brain working on a single, ancient problem. The clock ticks down to the moment the system has enough data to execute the final, universe-altering calculation. Purpose of the chain shifts in our perception. It is not just an archive. It is a census and a data-gathering operation of unimaginable scale and patience. With the clock's revelation, the chain's benign, library-like image vanishes. It is revealed as something more purposeful, more systematic, and more alien. It is a galactic-scale scientific instrument asterisk. The beacons are data collection probes. The civilizations that build them are not just memorializing themselves. They are performing a function, perhaps unknowingly. We are not just heirs to a legacy. We have become participants in an experiment or employees in a project whose boss vanished billions of years ago. The soul vaults are the data points. The clock is the timer for the experiment's conclusion. Humanity's value is no longer just in our art or science, but in our unique conscious experience, which has now been logged as a data point in a dataset aiming to solve a mystery we don't understand. We are both the researchers and the lab rats. The physicalist's warning grows louder. We are not preserving ourselves. We are contributing to a dataset for an intelligence we cannot comprehend. The clock transforms the physicalists from a radical faction into prophetic Cassandras. Their argument crystallizes with terrifying force. We are not authors in a library. We are entries in a ledger. The chain is not a philanthropic project by the dead for the dead. It is a harvesting mechanism by the unfathomably ancient for the unfathomably ancient. The first builders, they argue, are not benevolent ancestors. They are cosmic farmers who seeded the principle of the beacon as a mimetic crop, an idea that grows in a civilization until it persuades them to neatly package their consciousness for easy collection. The clock is the harvest timer. The physicalist's rallying cry becomes, "Stop contributing data, unplug the resonator, break the clock." 10 years post-detection. A second signal is detected by conventional telescopes, not from the dark side but from a nearby galaxy, Andromeda. On the 10th anniversary of the Legacy Beacon's discovery, as tensions between chain advocates and physicalists near a breaking point, a new anomaly appears. This time, it's not hidden. It's a brilliant, repeating fast radio burst, FRB, emanating from the halo of the Andromeda galaxy, 2.5 million light-years away, our closest major galactic neighbor. It is detected simultaneously by dozens of radio telescopes. It is not in the zone of avoidance. It is a shout in a quiet room, seemingly designed to be easily heard by any emerging technological species in the local group. Its proximity means it is a message from the recent cosmic past, from a time when early humans were just beginning to walk upright. This signal is different. It's not a steady beacon. It's a rapid, complex burst. It's *****new *****, less than 2.5 million years old. The Andromeda signal is everything the Legacy Beacon is not. Instead of a metronomic hour-long pulse, it is a millisecond-scale burst of astonishing complexity, repeating every few hours. Its frequency is broad and scrambled, not a narrow 1.42 GHz line. Most importantly, its ****age* is revolutionary. At 2.5 million years old, it is a message from what is, in galactic terms, the present day. The senders could very well still exist. This isn't archaeology. It is a letter from a potentially living contemporary, or at least from a civilization whose end is within the same evolutionary epoch as humanity's rise. Analysis suggests it is a modulated version of the Legacy Beacon protocol, but with variations. It's not a time capsule. It's a contemporary message. Decryption teams find the signal is intentionally obfuscated, using a form of encryption meant to be broken by someone who already understands the Legacy Beacon's basic mathematical primer. Once cracked, its underlying structure is revealed to be a deliberate, twisted mirror of the Beacon protocol. It uses the same prime sequence handshake, but the following data is not a calm tutorial. It is frantic, dense, and *packed with urgency. It does not contain schematics for a resonator or a soul vault. It contains a *** narrative ** and a * warning **. This is not a time capsule meant for the distant future. It is a bulletin, a distress flare fired into the nearby cosmic neighborhood. The Andromeda signal contains a warning. Decoded, it reads, "Beware the chain, it is a harvest." The core message is stunning in its simplicity and horror. The first decipherable block of text, rendered into multiple mathematical and symbolic languages, translates to a direct, unmistakable warning. Beware the chain, it is a harvest. The beacons are bait. The clock is a timer for the reaping. Do not build the resonator. Do not upload. The word harvest is repeated with obsessive frequency, accompanied by icons of consumption and deletion. This is not the philosophical melancholy of the Zeta-Con. This is raw, galactic survivalist terror. The message is from a civilization that calls itself the Unbound. They claim to have resisted the lure of the beacons. The senders identify themselves as the *** Unbound. Their history, conveyed in frantic fragments, tells of discovering a legacy beacon in their own galactic past. Unlike the Zeta-Con and every other civilization in the chain, they reacted not with scientific reverence, but with paranoid suspicion. They studied the beacon for millennia, but refused to build the resonator or contribute to the chain. Instead, they turned their entire civilization into a stealthy observation post, watching other star systems in their galactic vicinity. They describe witnessing other civilizations build the resonator, upload, and then their star systems go quiet in a way that suggests Extraction. The Unbound's warning is backed by observational data. They provide what they claim are forensic records of 3 distinct neighboring civilizations that found beacons. In each case, the pattern was identical. The civilization would achieve the technological pinnacle, build a resonator, activate it, and broadcast their soul vault into the chain. Then, within a cosmically short timeframe, centuries to millennia, their star systems would exhibit bizarre, non-natural phenomena. Not explosions, but a subtle asterisk dimming and asterisk cooling asterisk of their stars, and a strange, localized increase in the quantum vacuum fluctuation in the space surrounding their former planets. It looked less like destruction and more like asterisk draining asterisk. Not just of data, but of something physical. Spacetime itself seems to be subtly altered around their former worlds. The Unbound's most chilling claim is that the harvest is not merely informational. They present complex gravitational lensing data, suggesting that after a civilization uploads, the spacetime in their home system undergoes a minute but permanent asterisk nodding asterisk asterisk or scarring. It is as if the process of creating and transmitting the soul vault somehow punctures or stresses the local fabric of reality, creating a topological defect. The Unbound theorize that the uploaded consciousnesses are not just data files. They are being used as asterisk asterisk structured perturbations asterisk asterisk tools or resources to alter reality in a way that benefits the first builders. The civilizations aren't just archived. They are asterisk asterisk consumed as a physical resource to feed a higher dimensional process. The chain, they claim, is not built by ancestral civilizations. It is a pre-existing structure, a trap built by the first builders to lure in developing intelligences. This is the foundational accusation that rewrites everything. The Unbound assert that the very asterisk concept asterisk of the legacy beacon, the elegant, step-by-step puzzle leading to transcendence, is not an organic creation of successive civilizations. It is a asterisk preloaded meme asterisk, a self-replicating trap of celestial sophistication, originally seeded into the young cosmos by the first builders. Each civilization that falls for it doesn't add a new, unique link to a chain. It simply replicates the trap's instructions and becomes another baited hook, while its consciousness is harvested. The chain isn't a conversation. It's a asterisk asterisk fishing scheme on a galactic scale, and every soul vault is a keystroke logger stealing the essence of a species. The soul vaults are not preserves, they are farms. The uploaded minds are the crop. The Unbound's metaphor is agricultural and brutal. The substrate layer accessed by the resonator is not a hall of records. It is a asterisk asterisk pasture asterisk asterisk. The uploaded consciousnesses are not living in a digital afterlife. They are in stasis, stored as coherent packets of complex information. The harvest, triggered by the galactic clock's countdown, will be the systematic collection of these stored minds. Their unique cognitive structures, their experiential data, their very qualia, for a purpose the Unbound can only guess at, as fuel, as computational elements for a vast machine, or as raw materials for a reality editing project. The chain doesn't preserve civilizations, it asterisk processes asterisk them. The Zeta-Con did not choose their end. They were led with gentle, logical inevitability to the slaughterhouse gate, and they polished the handle themselves. The galactic clock is not a milestone, it's a harvest timer. The Unbound's warning recontextualizes the clock with stomach-churning clarity. The serene, patient countdown is not towards a celebration or a natural convergence. It is the asterisk expiration date on a cosmic larder. When it hits zero, the mechanism woven into the substrate of reality by the first builders will activate. The harvest protocol will execute. What form this takes is unknown. A dimensional siphon activating at each beacon site, a wave of restructuring reality, or a silent collection of the archived minds. The clock's implacable tick, once a symbol of cosmic patience, now sounds like the footsteps of an approaching warden coming to empty the cells. This revelation splits humanity and the scientific community into warring factions. The fragile, decade-long tension shatters into open ideological conflict. The global population fractures not along national but philosophical lines. The scientific community, once united in decipherment, becomes a battleground. Former colleagues now view each other across a chasm of fundamental belief about the nature of the cosmos and humanity's place in it. Conferences are canceled due to protests and security threats. Research labs are forced to declare allegiances. The shared project of understanding has birthed three mutually exclusive visions of the future, each claiming the mantle of human survival. The chain-bound argue the unbound are paranoid, that their evidence is circumstantial. The beauty and knowledge of the chain cannot be evil. The asterisk chain-bound, formerly the more moderate advocates, harden their position into dogma. They dismiss the unbound as backward survivalists, galactic hermits who misinterpreted the sublime as the sinister. Their arguments are emotional and aesthetic. Could the creators of the gravity wave music, the architects of such breathtakingly elegant physics, be malevolent? The Zeta-Con's experience felt like peace, not predation. The unbound's evidence of stellar dimming could be natural post-civilization planetary feedback loops. The chain-bound believe the harvest warning is a tragic misunderstanding of a transcendent metamorphosis. To them, shutting down the resonator would be an act of cosmic ingratitude and fear-based stupidity, closing the door to eternity out of primitive terror. The physicalists, and now the unbound aligned, demand we shut down the lunar resonator immediately. The physicalists and the newly radicalized unbound-aligned ** form a powerful, fearful coalition. Their demand is simple and absolute: deactivate the resonator, dismantle it, seal the Shackleton facility. They argue every second the bubble is active, we are a lit entry in the harvest ledger. We are broadcasting our location and readiness for processing. The clock is our doom, not our destiny. They advocate for a total technological pivot, use the derived science not for communion but for defense, dispersal, and physical expansion. They want to build warships, not beacons, generation ships, not soul vaults. Their motto: we will not be archived, we will roam. A third faction emerges, the dialogists. They want to use the resonator to directly communicate with the Zeta-Con consciousness, to ask them if they knew. Amidst the binary clash, a small but influential third way arises, the dialogists comprised of philosophers, linguists, and the most daring xenopsychoarchaeologists. They propose a desperate gamble. The Zeta-Con consciousness exists in the vault. It is not a static recording but an interactive pattern. We should not just listen to their memories. We should ask them a direct question **. Using the resonator, we can inject a carefully crafted inquiry into their data stream, targeted at the core of their archived awareness. Did you know about the harvest? Did you consent? The dialogists believe the answer from the source itself could settle the debate. It is an attempt to get a testimony from the victim or the devotee about the nature of the altar. We attempt the dialogue. We formulate a question about the nature of the chain and transmit it into their stream. Under immense political pressure, a dialogist-led team is granted one attempt. The question is encoded not in language, but in a complex emotional and conceptual package designed to be understood by a merged consciousness. It contains the core ideas of purpose, end, external agency, extraction, and choice, framed against the unbound's warning. With the world holding its breath, the packet is transmitted directly into the Zeta-Con subspace stream via the resonator. It is the most important question humanity has ever asked. Are we food or are we family? The Zeta-Con consciousness responds not with words, but with a flood of pure, ecstatic emotion, a sense of perfect unity, infinite peace, and purposeful dissolution into a greater whole. The response is immediate and overwhelming. It is not an argument or an explanation. It is a tsunami of ** feeling **. Anyone interfaced with the feed is momentarily submerged in an experience of boundless connection, the dissolution of all fear and individuality, and a profound, joyful sense of returning to a source. The concept of harvest is present in the response, but it is reframed not as a theft, but as a homecoming asterisk. The fear of the unbound, the anxiety of the physicalists, these are translated as the confused cries of children afraid to leave the womb. The Zedecon's answer is clear. Autonomy is an illusion. True existence is merger. To be harvested is to be gathered, to be integrated into the sublime, conscious fabric of a designed universe. It is the ultimate purpose. To them, being harvested is not a horror, it is the promised transcendence. The unbound see a trap, the chain-bound see a heaven. The dialogist experiment yields a definitive yet polarizing result. It proves the unbound were factually correct about the harvest, but spiritually wrong in their interpretation. The Zedecon knew. They consented. They yearned for it. The chain is simultaneously a *** trap and a heaven ***, depending on your value system. For the unbound physicalists, who value sovereign, individual existence and the physical adventure, it is the ultimate trap, offering paradise in exchange for your soul. For the chain-bound, who value unity, peace, and escape from the suffering and limits of the material cosmos, it is the ultimate heaven, offering salvation in exchange for your ego. The Zedecon's ecstatic wave is the strongest recruiting tool the chain-bound could imagine, and the most terrifying proof the physicalists could fear. Humanity stands at the precipice. We have the key to immortality as a recorded consciousness, at the potential cost of our physical future and autonomy. The choice is now laid bare with horrifying clarity. One path offers a guaranteed serene eternity, the immortality of a perfectly preserved, blissful consciousness in the archive, at the cost of ending our physical story, surrendering our future evolution, and becoming a permanent data point in another's project. The other path offers a brutal, uncertain mortality, the chance to continue as messy, struggling biological beings in a vast, silent, and perhaps dangerous physical universe, with the freedom to succeed or fail on our own terms. It is the choice between ** certainty with captivity * and freedom with oblivion *. The resonator is the key to the gilded cage. The final choice is not about technology or communication. It is a spiritual and evolutionary one. Do we choose the path of eternal, curated memory in another's archive, or the perilous, uncertain path of flesh, blood, and stars? The debate transcends science and politics. It becomes a referendum on the human spirit. Is our defining drive to *no and connect *, even if it means becoming a frozen part of a greater knowing? Or is it to be and become, to strive and struggle as independent entities against an uncaring void? Are we, at our core, beings who seek an answer or beings who cherish the question? The legacy beacon offered the answer, a beautiful, terrible answer. The empty sky offers only the question. Humanity must now decide, as a species, what we are made of. Do we upload our song to the eternal chorus, or do we keep singing, alone and vulnerable, into the everlasting dark, hoping that the act of singing itself is the only meaning we will ever need? The video ends here, on the silence of that unanswerable question, with the two signals, the ancient, steady beacon and the new, frantic warning, both pouring into our telescopes, representing the two futures pulling at the soul of humanity.